org/conference, catholicism.org/conference.
Well, we don't have Don McLean around. Well, actually, Don McLean is around to tell us what happens after the day the music dies. Dolly Parton dead at 80. But we are alive and asking the question of the day.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Well, I'll tell you.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire.
No, you can't.
For a safe and secure society.
So I'm calling on Congress to pass these reforms, and I'm going to sign them into law. You call down the thunder, well, now you got it.
You tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
All righty, our call-in line telephone number, if you'd like to be on the program today, 844-527-8723, 844-5-CRUSADE. Email address, same as it ever has been. It was actually used properly yesterday by pretty much the only person that ever uses it properly, and that is the old farmer, Emitter Monday. But you can give it a go. KingDude at MikeChurch.com. It's KingDude at MikeChurch.com. The Crusader Stadium chat room is open for your commentary at CrusadeChannel.com/chat. Coming to you live from the Capuchin Holy Roast studio here today on a Wisdom Wednesday. So Dolly Parton dead at the age of 80. And there's a conflicting report out about this. Oh, that's you printing something. I'm going like, why am I hearing... Oh, good. You know, today is Monday again.
For me.
Yeah, no, Monday was Monday. Yesterday was Monday.
Tuesday was Monday.
And now Wednesday has been Monday for Maggie.
It's the whole month.
Yeah, I just, I say this every year. I'm just going to quit. I'm not coming in August. Taking a whole month of August off. There's no reason to be here. Other than today to eulogize Dolly Parton, when did Dennis Wilson, the Beach Boys, when did he die? I think this is a similar scenario or a similar situation to when Dennis Wilson died, because the California that Dennis Wilson became famous in is not the California that Dennis Wilson died in. The California that Dennis Wilson was born into is not the California that Dennis Wilson died into. And there were many articles that were written about that. That at the time that the Beach Boys were becoming famous for that sound that they had, that surf music or whatever you want to call it, the California of them was already starting to metamorphose. It was already beginning to change. And as they say, you know, the change happens on the coast and then moves in, right? Well, in the case of Dolly Parton, a change happened in the middle and moved out. America became more country music or redneck friendly as a result of Dolly Parton, or people like Dolly. And there's a lot to be said for that. You know, there were, who would have thought in the early 1970s that a television show about rednecks would be the number one watched Saturday evening primetime program. It was called Hee Haw. You remember Hee Haw? Well, Hee Haw comes on after Dolly hits the scene in the mid and the late 60s. You know, there's an article at thefederalist.com there's a couple of them. Dolly Parton wrote America's Best Love Song by Emily Jashinsky. You see, an interesting thing that Jashinsky writes in this, that about radio. And we're coming to you live on great radio stations like 1010 The King in Atlanta, 990 AM WGSO in New Orleans. An interview from the late 1970s that resurfaced last year saw Dolly Parton defending the move on business grounds. Now, what move was she defending? It was there in the Smoky Mountains that Parton found herself transfixed by the town trollop, who inspired her world-famous look. But Parton's physical flamboyance often stood in contrast with the simplicity of her sound. This isn't to say that she stuck to mountain music. Dolly Parton built a pop career so extreme it generated controversy in Nashville, where discomfort with genre bending was beginning to build as disco swept the country. An interview from the late 1970s that resurfaced last year saw Dolly Parton defending the move on business grounds. She said, quote, "I've been a writer and a singer all my life, and I was as popular as anybody could be in country music. But I was only selling like 200,000 albums. So although everybody was talking about how good I was, there's just a certain amount of people who buy records in country music. And you can't expect to make a lot of money just in country music." Close quote. This is precisely the same strategy that catapulted Taylor Swift into the stratosphere, taking country radio to new audiences that were even less invested in purity than Dolly Parton's early listeners. Country music is America's great sonic blend, and always has been. And then I'm going to stop right there. I remember Dolly Parton from the movie 9 to 5. Yep. Don't ask me why. But as soon as my daughter number 2 texted me and said, "Oh, poor Dolly, R.I.P., I went, "Dolly?" And then I realized it was Dolly Parton. I looked up the TV and bam, it was on. That movie 9 to 5, of course, it was it was like a proto-feminist film, right? Mm-hmm. because the three women conspired to kidnap their boss, Dabney Coleman, and hold him hostage until he gives them raises and starts treating them better. So, you know, it kind of plays into the whole stereotype of the glass ceiling and all that. And there was a scene I saw last night that one of the TV networks put it, or maybe I saw it on X. It was the scene where they have Dabney Coleman tied up. He tied him to a chair. And Dolly Parton goes in there and starts yelling at him. And I actually had the sound off, so I couldn't see what the dialogue was. But ultimately, she winds up slapping him. And then she walks out of the room. So, you know, that song, Working 9 to 5, that's a pop hit. That was a #1 single on the Billboard chart. That wasn't a country song. That was a pop hit. So, just thinking out loud about the comparison between Dennis Wilson and Dolly Parton, well, I think that the comparison is the same. Is it even possible to produce a Dolly Parton today? Here's the question. In the era of Lindsay Clancy's, is it even possible in this America to produce a Dolly Parton, to raise a Dolly Parton? You know, I saw a bunch of pictures yesterday because people like them pictures of the house that Dolly grew up in, the shack that she grew up in, which at the time, she was born in 1946 in Tennessee, may have been the kind of home that many people had children in or lived in. You know, I was reading in that article that we were reading yesterday, or that I started to read, about the airlines. There was a line in there about the guy that was in that John Steinbeck wrote about, and the Grapes of Wrath, the American middle class dude, was it Jode or Yode? I have to pull the article back up. And that how he grew up in a house that didn't have indoor plumbing. Can you imagine this? Well, it looks like the house that Dolly grew up in didn't have indoor plumbing. But the country of the 1960s, where you see this film and these videos of a young Dolly Parton coming up, is not the country of 2026. You know, okay, so Dolly Parton was, and I'm trying to figure out, Maggie, how could Dolly Parton be Hannah Montana? What the hell is her name? Miley Cyrus's godmother, unless she was a Catholic. Protestants have godparents? I'm pretty sure it says she was an evangelical. Just look at the difference of the life, the public life of. I thought that Miley Cyrus was her niece, grandniece. I thought that Billy Ray Cyrus was related to Dolly in some kind of way. But in any event, related or not, seventh cousin once removed. Only in America. The difference in the stardom of Dolly and the stardom of Viley, they're not even comparable. Maybe in the way that Viley started, which is that the Viley started as the cute and lovable, huggable Hannah Montana on a Disney show, and then kind of graduated into the sex-starved, depraved, wacko lunatic that she currently is. I mean, she couldn't even hold on to a Hemsworth. She made a bad guy out of Thor's brother, or tried to make a bad guy out of Thor's brother. Dolly had no such achievements on her resume. You know, we were reading from Tacky Mag yesterday about the way that movies were made back in the day, before they weren't made, but like the way that they're being made today, and about the kind of the actor. and you expect some sort of change. You just don't expect the change to get worse. You know, we talk about here on the Mike Church Show all the time about how elections are always about the future. And whoever supposedly presents the rosiest picture or projection of what the future is going to be like with them running the show, that's the person that usually wins. A few people run to the dark side and talk about, well, I'm going to create this dystopia for you. And then people, oh, hey, yeah, dystopia. We all want to live in the Hunger Games for real. Do you? So I remember playing Beach Boys music and talking about Dennis Wilson and about, you know, the California of the 1960s, Woodies and Scouts. These are cars. Woodies and Scouts and surfboards, and the McDonald brothers becoming famous because McDonald's kind of caught on, and the drive-in hamburger, and you know, maybe the golden age of comedy on television with all the great shows that came out, and the comedies that came out in the 60s and early 70s, and you know, then something changes, something happened. And then like Norman Lear comes along and micturates all over everything with All in the Family, and you know, starts to build this dystopia. So I think, you know, Dolly was one of those people, and still is. Like if you go to Dolly World today, what do you expect to do? To have a good time. You expect that you're going to go to an all-American theme park and that things are going to be all-American. And that you're not going to be clubbed over the head with DEI and left-hardism and stupidity, and you're not going to be surrounded by Muslim men who want to beat you up, or if you're a woman, who want to rape you. You have a certain expectation of what you're going to have and how you're going to be treated. If you go to Dollywood. Do you have that expectation now, even when you go out into public? See, I think that what we're witnessing here, and we keep talking about this, and we also keep talking about, well, how do you change that? Become better Christians, live a better life. So we'll continue talking about this. I'll play some Dolly Parton music, obviously. Obviously, today you will be treated to the greatest song that Dolly ever participated in, and that's the one written by the Bee Gees, Island in the Stream, with Kenny Rogers. We'll talk about that. SpaceX, if you're here in Louisiana, SpaceX is going to build the largest space launch facility in the history of Earth right here in Louisiana. I have just, and look, fantastic, fine by me, dude. When and if we ever get out to Walsing and West, well, we got to survive August. August has just been absolutely, I think this is the worst month in the entirety of my 35-year radio broadcast career. And I'm not saying that just for effect. I really think it has been. With the content, what's going on with the war, and just the confluence of everything. But then again, maybe we should give thanks. What does Steve Cunningham says? Enjoy the suck. Maybe I just haven't enjoyed the suck enough. But back to the SpaceX thing. Did anyone consider that you're putting this thing on, what's the name of the island? Is it Pelican Island? Pelican Island. Or near Pelican Island.
It's not really an island.
It's not really, you're right, it's not an island, but it is on the coast. You could get clobbered by a hurricane.
Big time.
And there is nothing to protect you. It's you and then the Gulf of America. There's nothing there. Now, you could say the same thing about Cape Kennedy or Cape Canaveral, depending on whose side you're on. But they're going to build a massive facility here. Now, Maggie had the soundbite yesterday. I didn't play it. Maybe we should play it today because I'm confused. Is Elon building this thing to launch higher or HEO satellite. They'll be above the LEOs of Starlink, so that you can have satellite phone capability, or is he launching so you can put gross tonnage of supplies into space and send it to the moon to build a moon base and then a Mars base? Because I heard both answers yesterday. So, and this is a question. That's not a statement. By the way, this portion of the program brought to you by the Dude Gear Store and the Cooking with the KingDude trilogy of spices. That's beast and butt rub, chicken mamu, and Acadiana steak seasoning, all formulated by yours truly with a 100% money-back guarantee. You don't like them, I'll buy them back. Shop with us today. Believe me, your palate will thank you at shop.mikechurch.com. I have some other interesting things to chat with you about today. Let me talk to our listeners in Texas. Maybe you should consider secede. Secede. Secede! I told you this yesterday, and then I followed up on it myself so that I would have it. There is, okay, I told you yesterday that when Texas joined the Union in 1845, that they submitted with their application for statehood a exception. The Virginians did the same thing in 1789, or 1788, by the way. Joint resolution for annexing Texas to the United States approved March the 1st, 1845. Remember me telling you that this thing was like lost to the mist of time and history and it was discovered? Well, that part of the story is true. It was lost to the mist of time. Now, there were historians that knew about it. They just didn't know where the document was. Well, they found the original document. And you can read the document. I actually put it on my X at the KingDude on X. Joint resolution for annexing Texas to the United States. 4/5 of Texas do not have to remain in the American Union. It's an interesting thing to think about, isn't it?
It's not tape or a Post-it or a candy bar, but this new 3M
is the freshest spin on true crime shows since dinosaurs were solving cold cases with fossil evidence. Yeah, it's that original, folks.
Mom's Murders and Mysteries. New episodes debut every Tuesday night, 6:30 East, 4 West, exclusively on the Crusade channel. Live talk podcast radio, the way it should be.
Hey, it's time for another Cooking with the KingDude Backyard Barbecue Beast Mode tip. Pour 1/2 cup beast and butt rub into 1/2 cup brown sugar. Combine the two thoroughly and then put that into a shaker. Now you have the sweetest and spiciest barbecue seasoning on the market. So your wife, who loves sweet, and your Uncle Bobo, who loves butt kicking spicy, are both satisfied with your barbecue, and to them, you are a beast and butt rub Beast Mode champion. Get more of my Backyard Barbecue Beast Mode tips and your beast and butt rub today at shop.mikechurch.com. In 1983, ZZ Top made the song And it was true from the time that song came out till around 2010, when girls stopped going crazy over a sharp-dressed man because men stopped dressing sharply. Cargo shorts, flip-flops, and tank tops became all the rage for men's public casual wear, to say nothing of how they dressed for mass. Well, as my listeners and viewers know, there's hardly anything more important to me than being a sharp-dressed man. And to help you become one, I'm introducing the official necktie of the Mike Church Show, Proselytize, whose designs are not only striking, they're 100% Catholic. You will look fantastic and like a sharp-dressed Catholic man in your Proselytize neckties. Available now in the Mike Church Show haberdashery at shop.mikechurch.com. Shop for ties, caps, t-shirts, and much more in the Mike Church Show haberdashery at shop.mikechurch.com.
Hello, Crusaders. This is Sister Maria Filomena. Is your home an oasis of sanity? Where do you find peace? Join us in Richmond, New Hampshire this October 9th and 10th for our annual conference as we consider Oases of Sanity in the 21st Century. Connect with Mike Church, Charles Coulombe, Brother Andre Marie, Commander John Sharp, CJ Doyle, Jeb Smith, Sister Marie Gabrielle, and myself for thoughtful discussion and fortifying Catholic camaraderie at St. Benedict Center. Register now by going to Catholicism.org/conference. That's Catholicism.org/conference.
Hey, it's the King Dude. You know, I've spent my life and career in broadcasting building relationships with listeners and relationships with clients. And I'm here to tell you that it's rare that I find an advertising client that specializes in building those very same relationships with my listeners. Now, this client deals in one of the most important items you can currently buy. That's why I'm happy and proud to introduce Revelation Gold Group as the official precious metal supplier to the Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation. You have a choice in what to listen to and have a choice in where to buy your precious metals. Well, you've chosen the right radio show. Now, choose the right precious metal supplier and go with Revelation Gold Group at mikechurch.com/gold. Start building a precious metal relationship that benefits you and your family for many, many years to come with Revelation Gold Group at mikechurch.com/gold.
If you want to relive the magic of what you've just heard, transcripts of the Mike Church Show are available to elite Dude Nation members at mikechurch.com.
Tumble out of bed and I stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition and yawn and stretch and try to come to life. Jump in the shower and the blood starts pumping. Out on the streets the traffic starts jumping with folks like me on the job from 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. Barely getting by, it's all taking and no giving. They just use your mind and they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy and you let it. 9 to 5. For service and devotion, you would
Think that I'd
would deserve a fair promotion. Want to move ahead, but the boss won't seem to let me. I swear sometimes that man is out to get me.
Oh, Dolly. Dolly Parton, rest in peace. Eternal rest grant unto her, God. Let perpetual light shine upon her. May she rest in peace. Amen. She's one of those people that kind of her id was joy, happiness, enjoying things, participating in things with a smile. You have to imagine that there had to have been challenges in her life, but you would never know it, though. She's one of those kind of people that if there were, did she, here, Maggie, do you think Dolly Parton, number one, does she have 6 producers? And number 2, did she have Mondays? To me, that's the operative question. Did Dolly have a case of the Mondays? There's conflicting reports. CNN is telling me that she died of a short bout with cancer, and the Daily Mail is telling me, because, you know, she was, and I don't want to harp on this, I'm just going to mention it because it was a news item. She was a proponent of double COVID Corona-Doom Franken jab vaccination, that she actually succumbed to a immune system disorder of some sort. No, I don't know, because the only way you're going to find out is if you know a family member or if they've done an autopsy or if they've even asked for an autopsy, because you don't have to have one. Not everyone that dies is autopsied.
Her nephew said that she was battling cancer secretly.
Okay, so her nephew says that's the guy that gave the eulogy, which is really just. I love the line at the end, and we'll play it for you later. When he says that my aunt said that she wanted to rest somewhere on softly, and that she thought that she deserved it, lightly and softly after a lifetime spent wearing heavy rhinestones. So that is the life of Dolly Parton. We should just go back to the Dennis Wilson thing. And then the California that Dennis Wilson grew up in, the Tennessee that Dolly Parton grew up. You know, what's the major attraction in Tennessee these days is people being murdered in Nashville and people being murdered in Memphis and Trump having to send the National Guard in there. I don't think it was supposed to turn out like this. All right, let's do some headlines. This portion of the program brought to you on great radio stations across America like 990 AM WGSO and 1010 AM The King in Atlanta. Inviting you to join me on October 9th and the 10th in New Hampshire at the St. Benedict Center Conference for Oases of Sanity. Not sure where you'll find these, but I can tell you that October the 9th and the 10th, you'll be able to find them right there at the St. Benedict Center. A great time of year to visit New Hampshire and to visit New England because the foliage is in full bloom, and it just depends on the weather. You may catch it in full bloom, or you may catch it at the end, you may catch it at the beginning, but it is always there. The weather is cool, and it's just it's a pleasant time of year. And you'll be in great company with Sir Charles Coulombe. Yours truly, Mrs. O'Connell returns for the first time. When was the last time you were at the St. Benedict Center with your 6 producers?
Probably about 3 years.
3 years ago? This is 2026, 2023. I think that's probably about right. 3 years ago. So Maggie O'Connell will be there with her five other alter egos. Your 5 other personas. So you can get your tickets today and make your travel arrangements, but get your tickets today from Brother Andre and Marie at Catholicism.org. I'm not laughing about anything Dolly Parton. I'm laughing about the conversation that we watched while Janet Huxley was doing the news of this debate on GBTV, where this feminist, ultra angry, ugly woman is losing her mind over the. Where is your lack of empathy for Lindsay Clancy? Did you feel for her? And the guy goes, no, I don't feel for her at all. Is she doing stuff out of a window? Don't you have any empathy? If I'd have been there, I'd have pushed her. He says, this, there have been epochs in the world and times when there were things called events of mass hysteria, where people collectively lost their minds. This is one of them. These women, these loons that are showing up across this courtroom, and now they're showing up on television, they're showing up all over social media. If you dare to go open a web browser and go onto social media, you're going to see crazy, suicidal, lunatic, murder-coddling women. There's no other way to put it. You know, and isn't this what we talked about when we vigorously opposed the latest round of this, which was in Massachusetts? You know, previously, they did this in New York, and we vigorously opposed it. And when Andrew Cuomo was the governor, which was day of abortion, day of birth abortion. That's not you can call it, if you want to call it abortion, call it abortion. It's murder. You're committing infanticide. Can you at least have the pagan common decency and pretend like you're offering up the Quetzalcoatl or some other demon? So at least make it like it has a purpose to the execution of the child? But this has to have a collective effect. They passed it in California. They passed it in Washington State. They passed it in Oregon. They've now passed it in New Jersey. They passed it in Massachusetts. They passed it in New York. They tried to pass it in Virginia, and it narrowly was defeated. It'll probably get passed this year because they have a lunatic socialist pinko commie that's the governor. The United States is going to go down in its last years of empire as a place that for fun and for entertainment, women went out and got pregnant, and then for more fun and entertainment, invited others to come on the day of the child's birth, perform a human sacrifice. This is a human sacrifice. Why don't we think that this is going to lead to some sort of a collective insanity? Because I don't believe that people were made to, or that God created us to be sitting in front of these screens all day long, for example, and to be seen, flashing in front of your eyes 24/7, what all of your friends and neighbors and family members are doing. You're not supposed to know. As a matter of fact, I'm going to hazard a guess. I'm going to say you're better off if you don't know. There's a scene in the movie Christmas Vacation where the daughter is told that she has to shack up with the brother because you got to make room for the grandpas and the grandmas that are visiting the Griswolds for Christmas Vacation. And the daughter says to the mom, do I really have to sleep with him? I have nightmares about what he does in his room when I'm not lying right next to him. This is kind of this mentality. You're not supposed to know is the point. Here, you want a symbol of this collective insanity? This is a headline from the American Thinker. Gross. Los Angeles City Council entertains call for free homeless masturbation and hookup centers.
True story.
You're making this up, right? This is a Saturday Night Live sketch, right? This is out of the Youngin. National Lampoon did this, right? This is Cracked Magazine or Mad Magazine. No, this is real. That's why Mad Magazine and Cracked Magazine aren't in business anymore, because they ran out of things to make fun of, because the people who are insane, that they used to be portrayed as insane, are now normal people, and they're running the show. This is a real story. I'm not making this up. Nicknamed Nut Huts.
That's horrible. That's so bad.
I didn't make the nickname up. I'm only relaying it.
Terrible.
Los Angeles City Council last week, quote, I'd like to propose that Los Angeles consider a pilot program for free hygienic sexual relief clinics. That's a new one. Hygienic sexual relief clinics. Okay. It used to be called whorehouses. Houses of ill repute. Now there will be houses of glorious repute. Primarily serving the homeless and unhoused. So you get free shack and hookup if you're homeless and unhoused. What's to stop certain individuals who maybe have just given up on polite, productive society from moving to California so they can go to nut huts? This means equality. So now my white privilege extends to if I have the urge of performing a sex act in public. I'm just reading it. I don't make the news, folks. Just ripping and reading like back in the day. It means private sexual relief through masturbation or where appropriate and consensual with a partner. So a hooker house. This is a brothel they're calling for on a public street that I guess you just, you wait your turn? What if while you're waiting your turn, you can't wait your turn? What do you do then? Oh, well, we're going to have considerations for that. All funded by tax dollars and managed with professional oversight. It's about allowing the homeless to have the same comforts and privacy as we have today. So now my white privilege extends to me doing the deed with myself on the street in public. I didn't know that. Yes, Maggie. No. Which producer?
There's just nothing I can say.
Well, there are things that you could say.
I mean, they're already on the street. Most of them get free tents anyway. If we're talking about California, they get free tents. The state fixes your teeth once they give you the free crack pipes that you blow out your teeth.
Because methamphetamine ruins your teeth.
But then they pay you to fix your teeth as well. So I mean, this is just the next step in the evolution.
Yeah,
right?
Sure. Why not?
If you think they're not already doing that on the street in their own tents, you're crazy.
Well, that's right. And the tents are where everyone can see. So this is just, look, we're just giving them a nicer place to do it. I have a question. How are you going to explain this to the children that may pass by? Or there are going to be nut hut.
Stop calling it that.
Nut hut cordoned off zones. You know, they used to do this in the city of New Orleans. If you're listening on 990 AM WGSO, you probably remember this. Remember? When we were the murder capital of the world, or the United States, the city of New Orleans, instead of dealing with the root cause of New Orleans, a root cause of murder in New Orleans, which was young black men raised without fathers in crime-addled housing projects with no moral teaching, no moral background, no parenting to speak of, but as wards of the welfare state. But we don't want to talk about that. What was the city councils and the city fathers and mothers? What was their answer to the murder crisis in New Orleans? Let's not try and stop the bleeding and stop more from being raised that way, and then locking those up that are committing said crimes and making it readily and abundantly clear that if you attempt to kill, we're going to catch you and we're going to throw you in this thing called a prison for the rest of your life. No, that would be too easy. The city of New Orleans' answer was to put signs up. I'm not making this up. They actually put signs up warning tourists to not walk down certain streets, that their life might be in danger. I can't remember what the signs looked like, but it was basically, dude, do not go here, stop. Where if you're walking this direction and you can read this sign, you need to turn around and go back from whence you came. Otherwise, it may not end so well for you. I'm not fabricating this. This isn't a joke or a parody bit. This actually happened. As a matter of fact, it may still be happening. It may still have those signs. This is a civilization, then, that is incapable at every level of dealing with simple, human, moral problems that civilizations have been dealing with since Noah and his 3 sons repopulated the world. But this one... No, I think we should have a Mike Church Show contest to see who can come up with the least offensive but funniest name for the masturbation and hookup centers on the streets of Los Angeles. Remember now, Nut Hut's already taken, so you can't use that one. All right. 844-527-8723. In the YouBoob chat room, did you do a super chat today?
I did not.
Well, I don't think it matters if you do anyway. Yesterday, we were told that the super chat was broken, and that you couldn't leave a contribution. So let me just throw this out. Crusade Radio Guild, our nonprofit, is doing our August crowdfunding and fundraising. So today is the 26th. We have 5 days left to get to our goal, which is a meager $5,000. So yesterday, thanks to those of you who contributed to the fund at crusadechannel.com/donate. After I made it abundantly clear that we're not joking around. This is the worst August in 11 years of the Crusade Channel. The worst. By far the worst. to make a donation and make it so that we can continue providing you this 365-day a year, 7-day a week service of the Crusade channel and all that goes with it, the news, the saints of the day, the whole shebang. And, of course, the Mike Church Show. I sent an email out last night, and this has never happened in 10 years of fundraising. For the first time ever, this is how rotten this August is. For the first time ever in the history of me sending emails to you people and politely requesting financial support, we received this many donations.
0.0.
So like Maggie said yesterday, we had a good run. Maybe this is the end. I just wanted to thank the 5 people yesterday that stepped up to the plate and made wonderful contributions. Thank you. Again, crusadechannel.com/donate. And then I was going to share this with you because Sister Marie Gabrielle sent this to me. She told me, she goes, you know, being impoverished, Mike, is actually a good thing. As just ex St. Maximilian Kolbe. And I said, really? And she goes, let me send you a quote of St. Maximilian's. Maybe this will put your constant struggle into perspective. This is a quote now. Quote, poverty provides the capital which enables Franciscans to compete with financial giants, be they Protestants, sectarians, atheists, or their master, Masonry. Poverty is an inexhaustible treasury of divine providence. Indulgence in any luxury would defeat our mission. Close quote, St. Maximilian Kolbe from the book Mary's Night. It kind of puts some of it in perspective. Of course, I haven't taken a vow of poverty to be a Franciscan. And neither have, Maggie, have any of your 6 producers taken vows of poverty? No, I'm asking for a friend. Okay. So, crusadechannel.com/donate. Here is this is a piece at Lyceum. Lyceumnow.com. Is it 1917 deja vu? We ignore the parallels to 1917 at our peril. Another Russian revolution may be coming, and America must be ready. Now, he's talking about a revolution coming to the Russian Federation. I don't know about that, but is it possible that there is a revolution that is coming to the United States of America? Did you see this yesterday? That the Trump administration is now threatening to demolish the Kennedy Center because Trump doesn't like the plans for the renovation of it or something to that effect. And I'm like you have people out here. And by the way, I saw a story yesterday. We have already received rotten Argentinian beef. There's a grocery store, I think it was in Florida, that somebody went and was looking in the beef department and noticed that one of the labels on the beef was written in Spanish. And picked it up and started examining it, and then flagged a manager down because it just through the plastic wrapping, it didn't smell right. Called the mangler over, and the manager was like, "Ooh, dude." And they removed it, and they removed all of it from the shelf. Now, I suppose it's possible that this could happen to American-made beef, but certainly with the importation of 300,000 metric tons of Argentinian beef, I think you might want to be on the lookout. Why does this have to happen? I mean, the operative question to me is, how did this happen? I have so many stories like this in the pile today, to the point I don't even want to get to here. The sin of empathy plagues Lindsay Clancy's fangirls. Oh, and by the by, when you're considering the plot of the Crusade Channel and the Crusade Radio Guild, the Red, White, and Dude Nation, and the Mike Church Show, and just how difficult it is. Let me tell you something that we don't get. Here's the headline. MAGA influencer outed as Pentagon employee in bizarre turn after botching scoop State Department spokesperson gave her. The woman's name is Jenica Pounds. She has been masquerading under false pretenses, and I have referenced her many times as the data Republican. Now, I wondered, and I always wonder this, well, how did this woman come out of nowhere and all of a sudden have 350,000 followers on X, raking in 15, 18 grand a month? Well, come to find out, X does this for people. You pay the right, if you know the right people, you can be put in to the elite group of X earners and influencers, and you don't have to be good at anything. I think I want to apply for that gig.
Some of the best things on earth come in threes.
That's right, Lee. There's the Three Stooges.
And then there's the Cajun cooking trinity of onions, bell peppers, and celery.
And of course, guys, there's the Holy Trinity.
Now, I'm not comparing my Trinity to the Holy Trinity, but I guarantee you, my Trinity of homemade small batch rubs can put a heavenly smile on your taste buds. And all three come with my 100% money back guarantee. If you don't love and think that my Trinity of beast and butt rub, chicken mamu, and Acadiana steak seasoning aren't the best and most essential spices in your arsenal, I'll buy them back from you.
It may not be holy, King Dude, but that's the best spice and rub deal on this side of heaven.
Order Mike Church's set of Trinity rubs and save big at mikechurch.com/rub. That's one bottle each of beast and butt rub, chicken mamu lemon herb seasoning, and Acadiana steak seasoning for one low price and the King Dude's money back guarantee. Order today at mikechurch.com/rub.
Hello, Crusaders. This is Sister Maria Filomena. Is your home an oasis of sanity? Where do you find peace? Join us in Richmond, New Hampshire this October 9th and 10th for our annual conference as we consider Oases of Sanity in the 21st Century. Connect with Mike Church, Charles Coulombe, Brother Andre Marie, Commander John Sharp, C.J. Doyle, Jeb Smith, Sister Marie Gabrielle, and myself for thoughtful discussion and fortifying Catholic camaraderie at St. Benedict Center. Register now by going to Catholicism.org/conference. That's Catholicism.org/conference.
New home for news, talk, sports, and inspiration in Atlanta. AM 1010, The King.
When you get home to a darkened house, you turn on the lights. When you go out into the fallen, darkened world that most of America has become, turn on the Mike Church Show.
Hey folks, Mike Church here.
And let the red, white, and Dude Nation light the way for you.
Hey, we guarantee it works a lot better than that little Levite lightning bug, Ben Shapiro.
I've sentenced boys younger than you to the gas chamber.
Hop into your guilt-free ride into MAGACon-free conservatism.
On the Mike Church Show.
One of my favorite books is Jim Collins' Good to Great, and lots of people have benefited from reading it, including me. But few people have read his follow-up book, How the Mighty Fall. Now, over the course of the last 18 years, has been quite the feat of survival to avoid becoming one of the fallen, but survive we have. And guess what else survived? The world-famous Dude Number t-shirt, which began in 2007. Now, to kick off the relaunch of this elite membership club, we announced a brand new t-shirt design, a brand new certificate of authenticity, and access to numbers that have only recently become available. Here's Jim to tell you how to secure that Dude Number that's unique and special to you.
Just head to mikechurch.com/dude for all things Dude Number, including purchasing your 2026 version of the world-famous Dude Number t-shirt. That's mikechurch.com/dude and join America's morning show, The Mike Church Show, and the Red, White, and Dude Nation's elite membership club. That's mikechurch.com/dude.
Hello, Crusaders! This is Sister Maria Filomena inviting you to join us in Richmond, New Hampshire this October 9th and 10th for our annual conference as we consider oases of sanity in the 21st century. Connect with Mike Church, Charles Coulombe, Brother Andre Marie, Commander John Sharp, CJ Doyle, Jeb Smith, Sister Marie Gabrielle, and myself for thoughtful discussion and fortifying Catholic camaraderie at St. Benedict Center. Register now by going to Catholicism.org/conference. Catholicism.org/conference.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. That's 800-313-7757.
When you hear the noon bells tolling, it's time for Angelus, brought to you by the Crusade Channel.
Hey folks, Mike Church here. You know, when I was a little cheerins, I remember loving the old Dunkin' Donuts TV spot. You know, the one with the guy who got up at 3 a.m. mumbling to himself as he went out the door and then back in his front door.
Time to make the donut.
Well, fast forward 46 years, and now I'm the guy waking up at 3 a.m., mumbling to myself as I go in the studio door, then back out. Time to make the radio. I made the radio. I made the radio. But I have a secret weapon the Dunkin' Donut dude didn't have. Mike Church's Capuchin Holy Roast coffee in whole bean or ground. Our fresh, aromatic, gourmet coffee is made from 100% fair trade beans, freshly imported, roasted by my friend Kyle and his daughter at the Abita Roasting Company, then delivered to you so fresh your kitchen will smell like a barista shop. Good. So, whenever you arise to take on the day and listen to the Mike Church Show, do it the Red, White, and Dude Nation way by brewing up a fresh pot of Capuchin Holy Roast or my all-new Capuchin Holy Roast New Orleans blend coffee and chicory at shop.mikechurch.com. In 1983, ZZ Top made the song and it was true from the time that song came out till around 2010, when girls stopped going crazy over a sharp-dressed man because men stopped dressing sharply. Cargo shorts, flip-flops, and tank tops became all the rage for men's public casual wear, to say nothing of how they dressed for mass. Well, as my listeners and viewers know, there's hardly anything more important to me than being a sharp-dressed man. And to help you become one, I'm introducing the official necktie of the Mike Church Show, Proselytize, whose designs are not only striking, they're 100% Catholic. You will look fantastic and like a sharp-dressed Catholic man in your Proselytize neckties. Available now in the Mike Church Show haberdashery at shop.mikechurch.com. Shop for ties, caps, t-shirts, and much more in the Mike Church Show haberdashery at shop.mikechurch.com.
Mike Church, Commander-in-Chief of the Red, White, and Dude Nation. The Mike Church Show is exclusively on the Ethics and Broadcasting Network. No apologies, no prisoners, no censors. The Mike Church Show is on the Red, White, and Dude Nation.
So left wing and chew. Climb aboard. If you're an atheist too and limbs, they love hugging trees. Yeah. They hate oil, but try big SUVs. The Lippo with Springsteen will make make our Cuba run the limbo. Yeah. MoveOn.org sponsors our fun. Be a hick-ho with Dixie Chicks, Bush hater with Streisand. Right-wingers. We threw them overboard. This is a commie ship with Captain Hal Gore. Liberals, we'll take your rights where lives.
Baby, when I met you, there was peace unknown. I set out to get you with a fine-tooth comb. I was soft inside. There was something going on. You do something to me that I can't explain. Hold me closer and I feel no pain. Every beat of my heart, we got something going on. Tender love is blind, it requires a dedication. All this love we feel needs no conversation. We ride it together, making love with each other. Islands in the stream, that is what we are. No one in between. How can we be wrong?
Of course, this song written by Barry, Robin, and Morris Gibb, collectively known together as the Bee Gees, for well, as the story goes, they wrote it for Dolly Parton because she asked them to write her a song after Barbra Streisand did so well with the Guilty album. We got nothing to be guilty of. So Dolly's like, I want some of this Brother Gibb action. And the Bee Gees, they wrote that song, and they, as the story that I heard goes, they sent her a demo, and they sent her a demo with the three of them singing it for her so that she would get it. And she so liked the trade-off parts and the harmony parts that it was like, well, who can I do a duet with? And then, of course, it was Kenny Rogers. And the rest, as they say, is histoire, c'est histoire, as they say in French. And that is one of Dolly's biggest hits, one of Kenny Rogers' biggest hits. And again, of course, it's a song written, and most people don't know this, by the Bee Gees for Dolly. Of course, Dolly dead yesterday at 80. Eternal rest grant unto her. Oh God, let perpetual light shine upon her. May she rest in peace. Amen. I want to plumb the depths here of the question that I was asking earlier. Is it even possible for a class act who's raising daughters like Dolly Parton? Now, I got to be careful when I say this, because some Weisenheimer is going to go like, well, you mean, who's raising their daughters like Catholic girls? Well, I mean, you could say that, you could put it in that term, or you could just say morally. Dignity and class, if you will, come from a formation, a certain kind of formation. We talk about formation all the time. What are you saying, Maggie? That she was, that she wasn't all that? That she wasn't all that?
She liked to push envelopes.
Well, pushing envelopes is one thing.
She liked to push envelopes, and I think to some degree she was quite the little feminist. But now, did she go out completely naked? No, but she had other assets that she pronounced. Well, let's just leave it at that.
Well, let's just say, okay, the Johnny Carson clip is the best one. Can you find the Johnny Carson one? Because the Carson one made me laugh out loud. I was like, I had not seen that. Dolly was not afraid to use her, shall we say, feminine charms to gain some attention, or as the French would say, her décolletage. Bush. And she was asked about this. Well, you know, so she goes on the Tonight Show with the greatest late night talk show host ever. No, not Conan O'Brien. No, not Jay Leno. Johnny Carson. I mean, Jack. All of those guys were good. Jack Benny was good. Jack Parr was good. Johnny Carson was, I think, just the king. I mean, because he was just Carson. He was just funny. You know, Carson is a story, and you know, it was one of my models for my vocation, Johnny Carson, among others like Buddy Diliberto in New Orleans and El Rushbo, of course, and Myron Cope at the Pittsburgh Steelers. These are Harry Carey, of course, Paul Harvey. These are great broadcasters, great entertainers who sort of played themselves. And I think that really is the best course of action to success, is to just, I think Dolly Parton actually said something to this effect, just be really good at being you. She was really good at being her. So she goes on Johnny Carson, and
It was only 19 seconds, huh?
it's a very short clip. And Carson X's her or says something, and then Dolly responds, and then Carson drops the one-liner that everyone is talking about today. Okay, here it is.
I've always been pretty well blessed. People are always asking if they're real, and
I would never. I would never. You see.
No, you don't have to ask.
I would not.
I tell you what, these are my.
I have certain guidelines on the show.
I usually say.
But I would give about a year's pay to peek under there.
And only Johnny Carson could get away with that. There is no one in broadcast television that could have gotten away with that outside of Carson. And it was just, just imagine you're in that world. That's 1976, right? I think that clip is 1976. I saw another one from Johnny Carson. By the way, we're coming to you live from the Cooking with the KingDude studio here. Cooking with the KingDude trilogy of spices will spice up your spice cabinet, my friends. Get you a bottle of Beast and Butt Rub Chicken Mamu or Acadiana steak and seafood seasoning. Don't forget the Made in Louisiana flat roux spoon and the Louisiana merch store as well. Shop with us today. Don't forget the coffee and all the other great accoutrements that we have. The Abbey Roast coffees from the brothers at shop.mikechurch.com. I saw another clip of Carson yesterday. It's on my X, if you follow me on X. Dean Martin shows up to go on the Carson show, Tonight Show. Bob Hope is already there. So Bob Hope is seated in chair number 2. He was in chair number 1, and they go to a commercial break. They come out, and they move Hope to chair number 2, so chair number 1's unoccupied. And onto the set comes Dean Martin. And Dean is in his classic Dean Martin outfit. You know, he's dressed kind of like a Californian. And he has a martini in one hand with a cigarette. So he's carrying a cocktail with a lit cigarette. He used to be able to do this. And then he walks onto the set, and I'm pretty sure this is a bit, because, you know, Dean Martin's daughter, Dean Martin was a Catholic, by the way. Dean Martin's daughter wrote a book about her father after he died, and something to the effect of, you know, being Dino, the real Dean Martin. And she said in the book, she goes, my dad was never drunk in public like that. That was always an act. She goes, he drank at home, yes, privately, but that was always a part of being Dean Martin in public. So Martin comes onto the set, and apparently they didn't let Bob Hope in on the joke.
It's 5 minutes long.
No, you don't have to play it. I'm just going to tell the story. Because that's what I do here. And hey, if you want me to tell stories in September, and I need your donation today. For a donation in August, I will gladly entertain you in September. Go to crusadechannel.com/donate. And thank you very much. I don't think they let Bob Hope in on that it was some kind of a routine, because Carson's going along with the whole thing. And apparently Dean Martin had filmed some sort of a special that was going to air, and that's why he was on the show to promote the special. He... You'd have to go to myx.com, follow me at the KingDude, and you could see the clip. My point about that is Dean Martin could walk onto the set of the Carson Show, of the Tonight Show, and could pull this off because he and Carson were buddies, and could do this sort of live entertainment on live broadcast TV, and make it appear as though that it was spontaneous. But it wasn't spontaneous. They choreographed these things. But still, Martin can show up, and in that era, there was a sort of a camaraderie, and these were good guys. And you didn't have this, I need to define myself amongst all of my Hollywood peers, and so in order to do so, I'm going to be trash man, or whatever the case may be, or super offensive cross-dresser man, or whatever. You could do that, but you didn't have to do that, and you would still be liked and admired and respected. It was a funny part of the joke, and I laughed when Martin cracked it, because Carson says something to the effect, he goes, well, you went out and you recently went somewhere and you did a couple of shows, and I see that you've returned back, and he goes, yeah, and he goes, I made $400 or $500. That's funny. Dean Martin says I made that he did a show, comedy show, and he made $400 or $500. Was he joking, or was he telling the truth? I think that there was probably, but you think today, well, no one goes on any of these shows for less than $200,000. That may be what they get today, but I don't think that that's what they were getting back in the day, because these guys actually worked their craft. And they were actually comedians, and they were now. It is true that I think Johnny Carson was the first entertainer in television history to ever be paid $1 million a year. I want to say that's one of the things that Carson did. But he was the exception. He was not the rule. In any event, that clip with Dolly Parton and Johnny Carson, would that even work today? Tell me who goes in as Dolly Parton and on what show she goes in, and who cracks that joke and has the comedic timing to do it. Tell me who it is. And sure as hell isn't Jimmy Kimmel. It's none of the ones that came off of Saturday Night Live, because they're all working scripts. And none of them are naturally funny. Leno was kind of naturally funny. Could Jay have done that? He wasn't that kind of personality. He wasn't a Johnny Carson. So Dolly would be greatly missed. But that era in which Dolly Parton became Dolly Parton, you're not going to have another Dolly Parton. That America's gone. And there are people that are writing about that today, the same way they wrote about the era that the Beach Boys came up in. And when the Beach Boys became the Beach Boys, that era is gone. That 1960s era of California, that Dennis Wilson and Brian Wilson and Mike Love and those boys grew up in, that California is gone. It does. Now, there are some pieces of, like that lifeguard kid that saved that boy's life. So there are still some places that our media accentuates the negative. It looks for the negative. And it does a good job of it, too. Play digital media file. Now, here, this is funny. Let's stay on the subject of hopium today. Play digital media file. No, where's the one where number 7. John Shirley, Hood County Constable, my new hero. He's going to be your hero too. You don't have it?
Oh, I found it. Okay. I just linked it.
Boy, I tell you, man, this week, good grief.
Maybe I need an extra producer.
I think It's not like there's not a ad that's been running for 6 weeks for people to, to become your associate video producer. We got to get through August. We just got to get to September. Right here, watch this.
Of something that happened recently in Hood County. Precinct 2 Constable John Shirley posted these photos on Facebook over the weekend, saying the cameras had been unplugged and covered. This follows a directive from the county commissioner's court. Now, in the post, he said in part, quote, these cameras were constantly scanning and recording regular folks just going about their day. They kind of permanent, warrantless tracking doesn't belong in a free society. He added, quote, by unplugging and covering them, we're making it clear privacy isn't optional and mass surveillance isn't how we do things here. End quote. To Flock Safety Systems, come get your garbage out of my county. We're getting a glimpse.
Come get your garbage out of my county. Say one thing for the current iteration of the American public and the American Shursons out there. We do apparently have a limit to how far you can push most of us. And apparently the flock camera is the limit. That people have looked at him and goes, what's that? What is that? How many of you have ever seen an actual flock camera in person? Oh, pick me, miniature, pick me. I've actually seen one. Several of them. As a matter of fact, there are 2 of them within 2 miles of where I'm currently broadcasting from right now. And they look to me to be on someone's private properties, which makes me think, since that guy has been developing that property for like 10 years, makes me think that they went to him and he went, oh yeah, man, you want it? You want to rent that little space? Sure. You have to make public enemies of these people. Here, play the Flock CEO, dude. This guy needs to get the flock out of here. Garrett Langley. Where do you hear this? If you don't already hate this guy and hate these things, you're going to hate them now. This flocking guy is out of his flocking mind, and he doesn't mind flaunting his flocking mass surveillance fetish.
I value my privacy. My family values
No, you
it.
don't.
My employees value their privacy.
No, they don't.
But what we're talking about is safety as well. And so I think when people talk about just one of these, privacy or safety, they're prioritizing the wrong thing. And what we have to prioritize as a country is compromise. How do we have our safety and how do we balance privacy? And so when I think about legislation that calls for an outright ban, that's like banning vehicles. That would never have made sense. Instead, what we did is we introduced laws against drunk driving. We introduced laws around seatbelts, laws around airbags.
Those are not the same thing there, buddy.
Apparently, this guy thinks that they are. You know, I should have had this ready, but because I was going to play you part of the song, the Athens Rap. Why don't you go to hell, buddy? Because that's what needs to happen to this. Well, I think we're talking about compromise. I wasn't asked to compromise. My participation in polite American society does not require me to compromise on privacy and security, and if it does, then I'm only going to compromise with a Catholic confessional state going forward. I'm not compromising with you people. You know, it's getting to the point now where these people, people like him, have obtained the upper hand. And they've obtained the upper hand because they're all in on it. They're all in on the grift. Here, let's talk about grift for a moment. So, as you consider making a donation right now to crusadechannel.com/donate, even if it's $5 to get us off of zero for the day.
0.0.
And thank you for the $5. This is what we're up against. Flock camera people, for example. Where do you think the funding comes for the flock camera? Now, there may be some private entities that are buying flock cameras, as I said the other day, because they own very large lots of things, and they have the right to see who is on their property if they're letting people in and see what they're doing on their property. That's okay, fine. It would be like you buying Ring cameras for your house. If you want to if you want to practice life as in your own little private surveillance state, hey man, you go right on ahead and do that. You do that. Most of the purchase orders for these surveillance state hardware is being paid for by the state. It's good and big, lucrative, I call it filthy lucre, business to be working as one of the elites or for one of the elites. Well, I know, and that's the state. The police department is the state. It's literally the police state. Jenica Pounds, who was more well-known as MAGA influencer Data Republican on social media, was outed as a special government employee of the Department of Defense Monday. Pounds' Pentagon employment came to light after a bizarre incident in which she claimed she was being set up by the deep state. But it was revealed she merely botched a scoop she was being handed by a State Department official. Up until June, Pounds was a member of the credentialed Pentagon Press Corps. She did not disclose her new gig with the Pentagon. The story began to blow open on Friday, August 21st, when the X account for the far-right outlet AF Post wrote, Jenica Pounds, a.k.a. Data Republican, a Department of War employee, alleges that Undersecretary of State Sarah Rogers is attempting to entrap Pounds by providing her with information to leak under the guise of offering her a scoop. Per AF Post, Pounds also believed the deep state or Rogers was trying to set her up to commit a crime, in this case claiming Rogers is trying to entice her to leak sensitive information. Quote, it's not okay when the deep state sets you up to commit a crime, Pounds wrote in a now deleted thread. I have never been more angry in my life. This witch was working for the deep state the whole time. Now, this is what angers me about this, and maybe ought to anger some of you. I don't know, maybe it won't. By the by, this portion of the program brought to you by Revelation Gold Group at MikeChurch.com/gold. You're into gold? You're going to buy gold? Hey, they're saying gold may go to $5,000 an ounce. What does that mean is happening to the dollar? That means it's going down. Again, how do you secure your family's wealth? Precious metal is one way. And if you're going to do that, please do business with those who do business with us and use my exclusive and unique link at MikeChurch.com/gold. I'm not going to have enough time to finish the Data Republican thing. I'll tell you when we come back here. But you have time now. And you can also go to crusadechannel.com/donate during the timeout. We'll be right back.
The Crusade Channel and the Slaves of the Immaculate Heart of Mary's Sisters present the Saint of the Day.
Hello, this is Sister Maria Filomena with today's Saint of the Day. August 26th, Pope Saint Zephyrinus. He died in the year 217. He was the 16th Pope. He ruled the Catholic Church as Christ's vicar for 14 years. He did beautiful work in taking care of the burying grounds of the Christian martyrs of the early centuries. There were 11 million of these martyrs in less than 300 years. Saint Zephyrinus is responsible for the use of metal, and indeed gold-lined, chalices at Mass to hold the precious blood of Jesus. Dom Guéranger adds this information. Zephyrinus was the first pontiff to be buried in the celebrated crypt where the popes of the 3rd century came after their combat to sleep their last sleep. The catacomb, which thus succeeded the Vatican cemetery in the honor of sheltering the vicars of Christ, had been opened 30 years before by the virgin martyr Cecilia. This gift of the Cecilii was the inauguration, in the very face of the pagan government, of common church property officially recognized by the state. The Holy Pontiff witnessed the growth of heresy concerning the unity of God and the Trinity of the divine persons. Without the help of the special vocabulary, which was later on to fix even the very terms of theological teaching, he knew how to silence both the Sabellians, to whom the Trinity was but a name, and the precursors of Arius, who revenged themselves by reviling him. He was crowned by martyrdom under the Emperor Antoninus and was buried on the Appian Way near the cemetery of Calixtus on the 7th of the calends of September, which today is August 26th. We hope you enjoyed and were inspired by this story of Pope Saint Zephyrinus. Tomorrow's saint is Saint Joseph Calasanctius, and it will also be the feast of the 7 Joys of Mary. To access all of our Saint of the Day recordings as podcasts, go to crusadechannel.com/saints. You can meet the other sisters and help us build our convent by visiting our website, stphilomenasconvent.org. Until next time, God bless and Mary keep you.
Hey, it's the KingDude. You know, I've spent my life and career in broadcasting building relationships with listeners and relationships with clients. And I'm here to tell you that it's rare that I find an advertising client that specializes in building those very same relationships with my listeners. Now, this client deals in one of the most important items you can currently buy. That's why I'm happy and proud to introduce Revelation Gold Group as the official precious metal supplier to the Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation. You have a choice in what to listen to and have a choice in where to buy your precious metals. Well, you've chosen the right radio show. Now, choose the right precious metal supplier and go with Revelation Gold Group at mikechurch.com/gold. Start building a precious metal relationship that benefits you and your family for many, many years to come with Revelation Gold Group at mikechurch.com/gold.
You know what makes radio horror and sci-fi traumas that much better? Listening to them in hi-fi. Yeah, the Crusade channel sounds as good, but it's not THX sound good. But you don't need it to be to enjoy over 500 episodes of the greatest sci-fi classics called Suspense. Catch 2 hours of suspense weekdays at 11 a.m. exclusively on the Crusade channel. You want your favorite talk show shaken.
You look pale, Mr. Bond. I hope I didn't frighten you.
I see, I've always been a nervous passenger.
Not stirred.
Some men just don't like to be driven.
No, some men just don't like to be taken for a ride.
Unlike the fake conservatives in Zion Media, my church will never take you for a ride, but he will help you on your journey to a blessed eternity.
Captain's log, Crusade date 17.76.40. Trump fleet has ordered us to the Lunar Drano system to investigate a disturbance on a newly discovered planet called Influencer 2025. We've been warned that this civilization's statement that it wishes to make the media galaxy great again by sharing their posts with MAGA World may not be what they seem.
Entering orbit around Influencer 2025, Captain.
On screen.
Captain.
What is it, Counselor?
I'm sensing a disturbance, Captain. It is almost as though these people have an inordinate passion for greed and... In a word, Captain, grift. Captain, we're being hailed.
On screen.
I can't. Every time I try to lock on, it asks me to click on another channel.
Ah, the old clickbait maneuver. Shields up.
Shields up.
Lieutenant Olea, open up a channel.
Aye, Captain.
Attention, influencers. This is the captain of the talk ship Crusade 4. We're here on behalf of Trump Fleet because you requested to join the MAGA Federation. Identify yourselves.
I am breaking. I am do you see it? I am subscribe to unlock.
Darn it, mister. Can you speak in anything longer than a cliche?
Captain, they're powering up what looks like to be an outraged porn cannon.
Go to red alert number 2. Instant the truth. arm, entertain, and entertain podcast torpedoes.
Monologues loaded, Captain.
Outrage porn incoming.
America, great. Intelligence shields holding, but weakened, Captain. Crew IQ down to 87%.
Missile the truth. Fire our one monologue podcast.
Fire.
A direct hit, Captain. IQ levels are growing again.
Captain.
Yes, Lieutenant.
They've blocked us?
Will the Crusade 4 be able to reconnect with the people on Influencer 25 and save them from its time to move on-ia? Stay tuned to the next episode of Talk Trek.
In 1814, we took a little trip along with Colonel Jackson down the mighty Mississippi. We took a little bacon and we took a little beans, and we caught the bloody British in a town in New Orleans. Fired our guns and the British kept a-coming. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. Fired once more and they began to running on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. They ran through the briars and they ran through the brambles, and they ran through the bushes where a rabbit couldn't go. Ran so fast that the hounds couldn't catch them, down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Old Hickory said we could take 'em by surprise if we didn't fire a musket till we looked 'em in the eye. We held our fire till we seen their faces well, then we opened up our squirrel guns and really gave 'em well. We fired our guns and the British kept a-coming. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. Fired once more and they began to run it on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Well, they ran through the briars and they ran through the brambles, and they ran through the bushes where a rabbit couldn't go. Ran so fast that the hounds couldn't catch 'em, down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. We fired our cannon till the barrel melted down, then we grabbed an alligator and we fought another round. Filled his head with cannonballs and powdered his behind, and when we touched the powder off, the gator lost his mind. Fired our guns and the British kept a-coming, but there wasn't as many as there was a while ago. Fired once more and they began to running on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. They ran through the briars and they ran through the brambles, and they ran through the bushes where a rabbit couldn't go. Ran so fast that the hounds couldn't catch 'em, down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico.
That was Dolly Parton singing Johnny Horton's classic, Pablo. Oh, baby. What every podcaster wants to be when they grow up. Mike Church here with you on the Ethics in Broadcasting Network. This portion of the program brought to you by Capuchin Holy Roast Coffee. Mike Church's Capuchin Holy Roast Coffee, available on whole bean and ground. And don't forget the Capuchin Holy Roast New Orleans blend, coffee and chicory, exclusively available at shop.mikechurch.com. That's shop.mikechurch.com. You may have heard that we're doing a little fundraiser here the last 5 days of August. I want to thank Duff Fender, Sean, Bill, Stephen, and Elizabeth for stepping up to the plate and making wonderful contributions today. Your chance to do so and get us closer to that goal is right now at crusadechannel.com/donate. And thanks to all of you that have contributed. Okay, I played Talk Trek. To emphasize the point, how does one become a MAGA social media influencer? How do you become one of these influencers, number two? Do you build an audience through old-fashioned hard work and dedication to your vocation and your craft, and because you work really hard at it, and you practice your impersonations, get really good at that and things like that. And you're dedicated and devoted, and you love the people that you work with. You love what you do. Is that how you become an influencer these days? And what is an influencer? How many followers does Data Republican still have? I'm curious now. And do you build your audience up from
0.0?
She currently has 952,000 followers.
952,000 followers. So if you have 1 million followers on X, that translates to about $12,000 a month. So, I'm sorry, if you have 500,000, that translates to about $12,000 a month. So 1 million will put you between $18,000 and $24,000 a month. Now, how do you get to 950,000 followers? How does that happen? Well, Miniature, play! You do great things. You do great work. You do crappy work, Miniature. You'd have 950,000 followers. Oh, really? Okay. All right. I got 35 years of experience that says that that's not true. You sell your soul to the deep state and you join them. That's how you do it. I told Magdalene Rose the other day, this is the inescapable conclusion. I don't believe any of these people anymore. Unless I knew you from back in the day, like somebody like Jack Hunter, and I knew that you have actually been working at this for 15 years, or like Kurt Wallace or someone like that, and that you actually did build an audience, I don't believe you. I believe you were placed and you were put there. And I believe that you were placed and put there because you made the deal. You bent the knee. You took the money. You sold your soul. And look, if that's how you want to be remembered, that's what you want to do, and if that's your ethical standard, well, then, you go right on ahead and do that. There's nothing I can do to stop you. It ought to be unethical to the point where these people should be embarrassed and should be crowded out of polite society. But understand that this truth that they're peddling to you is bought and paid for. I will never forget this as long as I live. I'm trying to remember who it was. Okay, it was Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace, the father of what's that nerd they kicked off of Fox News? Chris Wallace. Chris Wallace's father, the great Mike Wallace. 60 Minutes fame. Spent his career with CBS. There was a controversy in 2003 or 2004, somewhere in there, when Mike Wallace was still on 60 Minutes at like 85 years old. CBS it was rumored that CBS was going to pay. There's a guy that supposedly had dirt on George W. Bush, the then president. Supposedly had served with him in the National Guard and had, I want to say that the controversy was that the dude said that he got out of combat missions because Daddy at the CIA pulled a string or something to that effect. It had something to do with Bush's service in the Air National Guard during Vietnam. And this guy was going to go on 60 Minutes, and he was going to give the blockbuster interview. As a matter of fact, I think ultimately that he did, and he gave the interview, he didn't give it to Mike Wallace, he gave it to Dan Rather did it, and it was discovered that the whole thing was basically a crock. It was faked. The controversy that preceded it was he wanted 60 Minutes to pay him for the interview. And this is where Don Hewitt, who was chief executive producer of 60 Minutes and was for so long, and Mike Wallace found out that CBS was considering that they were going to pay this guy to get the scoop. And Don Hewitt said, "No way, Jose, that's not going to happen. We don't pay for interviews. We're not going to, this news entity is not going to do this." Now, you can take this for what it's worth and say, yeah, but 60 minutes. Like, I'm not arguing that point. I'm talking about this specific instance here, where the ethics of paying for interviews was discussed publicly, and CBS ultimately said that they didn't do it and weren't going to do it. That was the right call. And what precedent would this set? It just set the precedent that, I'm just going to put myself in a position where I can claim that I have a story or a scoop on someone, and I'll sell it to you, and then you can broadcast it. It's one thing to have a story about someone and then to say, hey, I'm a whistleblower. It's quite another thing to say that I'm a whistleblower mercenary for hire. What is the reward of being a whistleblower? Well, the reward is integrity, honesty, dignity, truth. That's the reward. It doesn't come in dollars and cents. So in that one particular instance, it was shown that major media did have the line that it drew in the sand when it came to crossing ethical standards. I don't know that they have that line any longer, but they did at the time. The point being is you are not financially rewarded. Like Maggie asked me the other day, how did Catherine Harridge get into the position that she's in? Why isn't she still at Fox? Why isn't CBS throwing hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars at her per year? Because she wouldn't take the knee. She wouldn't bend the knee. She wouldn't do it. And that's why she's an independent journalist, and that's why she still does good work. And she gets great interviews because people know if I want to tell a real story, I might go tell it to Catherine Harridge. You should be able to say the same thing about Mike Church and the Mike Church Show. I should get the same reputation. Pretending that you're some sort of an upstart and that, like, in the case of this data Republican broad, and that 900-some-odd-thousand followers, how do you get that? Well, I can tell you, it's not by broadcasting great content every day, 3 and 4 hours a day. What you won't get it that way, not with these clowns. You will get it because they will put you in the position there. You are fabricated. You are planted there. This witch is knocking down, do the math, $24,000 a month at 12 months. What is that? It's $145. It's $288,000 a year. This witch is knocking out $300,000 a year, pretending to be something that she's not. Pretending to save the republic, pretending to vend all manner of scoops and info to the MAGA faithful out there, when in fact she's working for the deep state she claimed to be undermining the whole time. As my operative friend in Mordor on the Potomac told me yesterday, he actually told me this 6 months ago, and I go, no, dude, she's the real deal. He goes, okay, don't say I didn't warn you. I said to him, you outed Data Republican a long time ago. These people are incredibly crooked. This is knocking down 12 to 18K a month, pulling this data that supposedly no one else can get. My contact, my scoop, and he's always right, and says, and zero real skill or talent, Mike. That's the infuriating part. These people are shills that never had to work for that platform. So this witch, Data Republican, siren, never had to earn your eyeballs. She was given them and was paid handsomely for it. Now, if you were in my position and you were trying to save the Crusade every month and just working, because I can't get 950,000 eyeballs on my work. They won't let me pass the gate. They won't let us pass the gate. You see what we're up against now and what the other side looks like? You tell me. If I didn't love what I do, and if we didn't love doing this, why on earth would anyone commit to doing this any longer? Because the only way that you can make a healthy living doing this is if you bend the knee. You have to go. The point is you have to go through them. There is no other way. So Maggie is telling me now that Lara Logan is out there defending the data Republican. And I said, well, let me just tell you, Lara Logan might have bent the knee because Lara Logan refused an interview with me on two separate occasions when Magdalene Rose asked her. As a matter of fact, the second time she didn't get the courtesy of a response. I said, you sent to the right person. She goes, yes, I had the contact. I didn't even get a response. Once you cross this Rubicon, folks, they're all in on it. Yeah, but sometimes you get good. You may get a nugget of truth every now and then. I got to give you something. There's a couple more tweets on the media. Who did this post? On the Mediaite post. The Department of Defense. Miss Pound serves at the Department of War as a special government employee, I'll say, and is no longer a credentialed journalist at the Pentagon. Her PFAC press credential expired in June 2026, and she did not seek a renewal. Well, she didn't need it. She began working for the department in July. That's about the time, huh? The Pentagon confirmed, says another guy, Ms. Pound serves at the Department of War as a special government employee. CBS News National Security Coordinating Producer Jim Laporter also confirmed Ms. Jenica Pound serves at the Department of War. Pounds addressed the story on Monday. I began working as a special government employee for the Department of War in July to serve the country in a more hands-on way. Oh, baloney. You were always working deep state. Go to her and make sure that we unfollow this witch. This is how the sausage is made in Mordor and on social media, and it's becoming more and more and more apparent. These people are control. So ask yourself the question then. The entirety of the storyline that we were fed in the election year that was 2024 from people like her, how much of it was manufactured? You know, maybe Trump was telegraphing the entire time and was projecting when he kept calling out, fake news, right there in the back, CNN, it's fake news, there's the fake news. Maybe the people who were exonerated from the patina, from the claim of being fake news, were actually the ones producing it in broad daylight, and you paid for it. I paid for it. I aided and assisted. It's just, it is. My buddy used the correct term, infuriating. It is infuriating. And the fact, I mean, just the ethics of this. Why do we have an ethics and broadcasting network? That's why we have an ethics and broadcasting network. All right, this portion of the program brought to you by, St. Benedict Center time. Folks, I really love to see you and meet all of you. As a matter of fact, there may be another event attached to the St. Benedict Center tour this year because Maggie and I are going to drive. We're not going to fly, we're going to drive. And maybe passing through your area. I'll tell you all about that if something emerges. But in any event, I will be on October 9th and the 10th in Richmond, New Hampshire. Actually, I'll be in Fitzwilliam, New Hampshire. And hope to see all of you. We took a picture with 22 Crusaders last time Maggie was there in 2023. So we helped fill the St. Benedict Center for a great conference with Brother Andre and Sister Philomena and Sister Marie Gabrielle and Charles Coulombe and Commander John Sharp. And this year, Jeb Smith, a great group, Joe Doyle, of course. Great group of presenters, great food, great time, perfect weather. You should come out and meet the KingDude and Maggie O'Connell and join us for a great weekend of and sample an oasis of sanity for a change. Get your tickets today at Catholicism.org. That's Catholicism.org. Bring a friend with you or a family member. Catholicism.org, St. Benedict Center Conference. Okay. So Greta Van Kykeren, Greta Van Susteren. We have a clip from Greta Van Susteren. The reason I'm laughing is because there was somebody reposted a Barbara Wawa interview with Dolly Parton, where Barbara Wawa is going like, "Is any part of you actually real? Yeah, do you like have any real hair? Is you know?" And she was implying that there it is. And Greta Van Susteren says, "This should have never been broadcast. This is the worst interview in the history of worst interviews."
What a trash interview.
Trash interview of Barbara Wawa interviewing Dolly Parton. She asks Jared Isaacman of NASA, "Are we going back to the moon?" And he says yes. We got Elon talking about SpaceX. I have a couple of pieces that I want to get into during the course of this hour. And, of course, welcoming all of you listening out there on our wonderful terrestrial radio network, including 1010 The King in Atlanta. Atlanta, your call-in line telephone number is 844-527-8723. I have a couple of pieces. Oh, there's a new study out about coffee drinking. Guess what? It's actually really good for you. Really, really good for you. I'll tell you all about that. You have enough time during the timeout. If you appreciate what we just did in this last segment, you want to hear more of it, go to crusadechannel.com/donate during the timeout so I can read your name when we come back. We'll be right back after the news. Don't go away.
Hey, it's time for another Cooking with the King Dude Backyard Barbecue Beast Mode tip. Pour 1/2 cup beast and butt rub into 1/2 cup brown sugar. Combine the two thoroughly and then put that into a shaker. Now you have the sweetest and spiciest barbecue seasoning on the market. So your wife, who loves sweet, and your Uncle Bobo, who loves butt kicking spicy, are both satisfied with your barbecue, and to them, you are a beast and butt rub Beast Mode champion. Get more of my Backyard Barbecue Beast Mode tips and your beast and butt rub today at shop.mikechurch.com.
Listen, were you forced into getting a solar contract and now you just don't want it anymore? Maybe the solar company misled you. Or is your solar contract buried with hidden fees? Are you not saving the amount of money you thought you would on your energy costs? Don't worry. At the Solar Exit Hotline, we can help you cancel your solar contract, even if the panels are already installed. Our experienced legal team will review your contract and help you cancel it, possibly saving you thousands of dollars. You got to call right now for complete details. So listen, if you're not happy with your solar contract for any reason, we are here to help you cancel it. Call the Solar Exit Hotline now for immediate options to help you exit your solar contract. This call is 100% free.
800-932-1789. 800-932-1789. 800-932-1789. That's 800-932-1789.
WXKG, AM 1010, Atlanta.
Mike Church Show News. News you can trust.
Because let's face it, the truth just sounds different, like a symphony of facts.
And now, here's Janet Huxley.
Hello, Red, White, and Dude Nation. Welcome to Wednesday, August 26, 2026. I'm Janet Huxley at the Mike Church Show News Desk, live from the ranch in Kansas City. This report brought to you by Mike Church's Beast and Butt Rub, a rub that's won championships and will help make you a champ in your kitchen or backyard. Check out Mike's recipes and pick up a bottle or 6 today at shop.mikechurch.com. Here's what to listen for this hour. President Trump mourns Dolly Parton, ordering U.S. flags lowered nationwide. Canada announces dollar-for-dollar retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. Woman hiking in Arizona on Indian reservation brutally attacked. And U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers seize all kinds of counterfeit jewelry and other items from Hong Kong. Legendary country singer and songwriter Dolly Parton has passed away. She was 80. She died peacefully in Nashville, Tennessee yesterday, according to a press release. Her nephew revealed the news in an August 25th Instagram video that came after Parton's spending months battling an unknown health issue. President Donald Trump ordered American flags lowered across the U.S. for 1 week as he mourned the death of the country music icon, saying, "The world loves you." Very sad to report that Dolly Parton, one of the greatest country singers and far beyond ever, has just passed away, he wrote on Truth Social. "This is a true loss for millions of people. There has never been anyone like her and never will." Canada has announced it is countering Washington's tariffs by imposing dollar-for-dollar counter tariffs on hundreds of American goods amounting to, about $19.9 billion. The new tariffs announced by Canadian Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne during an August 25th press conference will come into force on September 8th, increasing costs for importing American items ranging from seafood to furniture. New U.S. tariffs will have real consequences for Canadian workers, businesses, and communities across our nation. Canada must respond, and today we are in a proportionate, targeted, and strategic way, he said. A birthday hiking trip of a lifetime wound up being a death-defying fight for her life for a New York City mother of two as her neck was slashed and her hand stabbed. 27-year-old Alexis Rowan survived the northern Arizona mountain hike attack only because of screams that were heard by a woman in a nearby home, forcing the suspect to leave. All of this caught on doorbell camera footage. Graphic photos shared by the New York Post showed the deep slash left on her neck and the 10 stitches that closed it, along with 3 more from being stabbed in the hand. It happened on Wednesday, August 19th, at the Havasupai Indian Reservation. Just a day after her birthday, she was left behind by a friend when the suspect approached. He was identified as Taylor Nardo Paya, a 29-year-old Havasupai tribe member. Our quote of the day: "Go forth in peace, for you have followed the good road. Go forth without fear, for he who created you has made you holy, has always protected you, and loves you as a mother. Blessed be to you, my God, for having created me." St. Clare of Assisi. Coming up, more headlines. You're listening to The Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation.
Hey folks, Mike Church here. You know, when I was a little cheerins, I remember loving the old Dunkin' Donuts TV spot. You know, the one with the guy who got up at 3 a.m. mumbling to himself as he went out the door and then back in his front door.
Time to make the donut.
Well, fast forward 46 years, and now I'm the guy waking up at 3 a.m., mumbling to myself as I go in the studio door, then back out. Time to make the radio. I made the radio. I made the radio. But I have a secret weapon the Dunkin' Donut dude didn't have. Mike Church's Capuchin Holy Roast coffee in whole bean or ground. Our fresh, aromatic, gourmet coffee is made from 100% fair trade beans, freshly imported, roasted by my friend Kyle and his daughter at the Abita Roasting Company, then delivered to you so fresh your kitchen will smell like a barista shop. Good. So, whenever you arise to take on the day and listen to the Mike Church Show, do it the Red, White, and Dude Nation way by brewing up a fresh pot of Capuchin Holy Roast or my all-new Capuchin Holy Roast New Orleans blend coffee and chicory at shop.mikechurch.com.
Check out today's Saint of the Day in the Saint of the Day podcast from the Slaves to the Immaculate Heart Sisters by listening or downloading at crusadechannel.com/saint. Now look at more headlines. U.S. Customs and Border Protection, or CBP, officers in Indianapolis have seized what they described as a smorgasbord of counterfeit jewelry from Hong Kong, which would have been worth more than $3.7 million if the items had been genuine. The agency shared exclusive details on August the 25th with the Epoch Times about one of its latest interceptions of faux goods from China, which consistently leads the world in shipments to the United States of alleged counterfeit items seized for intellectual property rights violations. CBP has an exceptional team of officers and import specialists who are experts in identifying counterfeit goods and work closely with private industry to thwart intellectual property infringement. Indianapolis Port Director Brett Mueller said, "While CBP is mainly tasked with securing U.S. borders, part of the agency's wide scope of responsibilities also involves enforcing and recognizing IPR violations. Border officials have warned of counterfeit goods such as medications, cosmetics, children's toys, and automotive parts that could be potentially harmful to American consumers. Agents pulled a shipment from Hong Kong bound for a residence in Georgia for closer inspection and discovered 875 pieces of counterfeit jewelry, including earrings, necklaces, and bracelets, as well as 5 designer handbags. CBP and trade experts deemed the items inauthentic, and they bore several designer trademarks, of course, including Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Versace, Gucci, Tiffany & Company, Cartier, and Van Cleef & Arpels. Border officials have warned of counterfeit goods such as medications, cosmetics, children's toys, and automotive parts that could be potentially harmful to American consumers. I'm Janet Huxley for The Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation, because ethics in broadcasting matters.
One of my favorite books is Jim Collins' Good to Great, and lots of people have benefited from reading it, including me. But few people have read his follow-up book, How the Mighty Fall. Now, over the course of the last 18 years, it's been quite the feat of survival to avoid becoming one of the fallen, but survive we have. And guess what else survived? The world-famous Dude Number t-shirt, which began in 2007. Now, to kick off the relaunch of this elite membership club, we announced a brand new t-shirt design, a brand new certificate of authenticity, and access to numbers that have only recently become available. Here's Jim to tell you how to secure that Dude Number that's unique and special to you.
Just head to mikechurch.com/dude for all things Dude Number, including purchasing your 2026 version of the world-famous Dude Number t-shirt. That's mikechurch.com/dude and join America's morning show, The Mike Church Show, and the Red, White, and Dude Nation's elite membership club. That's mikechurch.com/dude. Only the Crusade channel brings you the Saint of the Day read by actual nuns.
Really? Our sisters are actual sisters?
Yes, and you can catch their heavenly voices announcing the Saint of the Day on the Crusade channel.
Oh, you boomers and your live broadcasts. I'm a busy girl. Sure, I'm very important only in my own mind, but can I get them as podcasts?
I'm not a boomer. And yes, all Saint of the Day recordings are available as mini podcasts on our app and at crusadechannel.com.
I see saintly binge listening in my future. I feel holier already.
Most Crusade Channel wannabes only get the mission half right.
Men, you are about to embark on a great crusade to stamp out runaway decency in the West.
So why settle for half-baked radio hacks crusading in mono when you can get the real deal on the Mike Church Show?
Now go do that voodoo that you do so well.
In stereo. The Mike Church Show's Great Crusade is on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
Hard to believe, but 50 years ago today, 50 years ago today, no, it's not this album, the debut album from Boston with More Than a Feeling and Rock and Roll Band came out 50 years ago today. Of course, this is the follow-up album. This is Don't Look Back. Mike Church Show here on the Ethics and Broadcasting Network, coming to you live from the Revelation Gold Group studios. Revelation Gold Group, you can find them hiding in plain sight at mikechurch.com/gold. mikechurch.com/gold. Want to thank Chris for his donation during the timeout. and Jeff Johnson. So we're a little closer to the goal, but not. I don't even think we're halfway yet. So crusadechannel.com/donate for the Crusade Radio Guild nonprofit fundraising drive this hour. And thank you in advance. Please give me some names to read, folks. The stress level around here is high this month for some reason. America can't make national treasures like Dolly Parton anymore. Isn't this what I said? Isn't this on today's thumbnail? Doesn't today's thumbnail literally say this? But this is Madeline Osborne at thefederalist.com, and I'm not saying that there's any plagiarism going on here. I'm just that great minds think alike. In the days and weeks ahead, Dolly Parton will be honored for many of her accomplishments and wonderful characteristics, but one in particular will be her place in American history as a figure that spanned the divide of politics. We will watch both the left and the right hail her as a national treasure and an American icon in a way that we may never see again. The beloved country music star's death is another heartbreaking reminder that for many reasons, America can no longer produce stars or heroes that can earn or sustain a wide cultural fan base comparable to Parton's. Consider today's female country music stars. You know what? Is there even such a thing as a female country music star? By the way, what Emily Jashinsky did not say in her in her piece about Dolly at the Federalist and about radio. Back when Dolly was coming up, how did you become popular? If you were a musician or a band or a singer or whatever the case may be. Through radio. You might have made a record, and then some series of people like me might have played your record on this thing called a radio station. And if it were popular enough, then you might have gone on this thing called a tour. And you might have gone from place to place. You know, it's a part of music history. The only person that I've ever known that ever talked about this was Alex Jones, actually. Yes, that Alex Jones.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Do you understand that?
Turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Crap. Tom Hanks made a movie about this called The Wonders with a O, not a W. The Oneders, The Wonders, because they were a one-hit wonder. You can actually, if you read any decent biography of the Beatles, you will find pretty much the same thing out. Musicians and bands don't make boatloads of federal money from selling records. Now, they do make some, and you might get residuals from BMI or ASCAP for your songs being played or other people covering them and what have you. This criminal shakedown still happens to this day. The primary mode of earning was from concert venues because you didn't have to split it with the record company. So one of the best examples of this was George Harrison was like axed in 1965. What do you do with all that money? And he goes, what money is that, mate? He goes, all the money that you guys make from all these selling these millions of records. This is why he wrote the song Taxman. He goes, well, what the taxman doesn't take from us, is not very much, which is why you'll find the Beatles constantly on tour. They made their money by selling out Shea Stadium. That's where they made their money, primarily. Again, yes, they get royalties, and they come in the mail, and checks. You open the checks in the mail. It's great. Dolly had to become popular by working at it. And she enjoyed working at it. So to a point I was trying to make earlier about Dean Martin showing up on Johnny Carson. That, Dean Martin just enjoyed it. Here's a good example of someone that seems to enjoy it still today. Dave Chappelle. Chappelle just always looks like, oh man, I can't wait to tell you guys this joke. And because he's laughing before he tells, because he knows what you're going to think about the joke. Casey Musgraves, don't know who that is, who like Parton came from a small rural town, but unlike Parton, quickly abandoned her hometown's values. Just this week, Musgraves kicked off a concert in Chicago by suspending from the ceiling on a testicle-shaped disco ball. Didn't Miley Cyrus already do this? I came in like a wrecking ball. No, you are a wrecking ball. And then asking fans to donate to a charity for children whose parents have been deported unfairly. She's also had her share of angry tweets at the president and calls for gun control. These people are just insufferable. And again, there's no talent here. There's no one who's worked their way up. The story of Dolly is, think of the story of Michael Jackson and what they did to that kid. A ingenue, if you will, a phenomenally talented. He was the brains of the whole outfit. He was, or the talent of the whole outfit. The other brothers he just kind of dragged them along, but he was the talent. Michael never stopped working because his family were losers. They were grifters off of him. He's a guy that worked pretty much almost every day his entire life. One of those documentaries that I watched about him was like, they don't know how the guy in his early years, how he survived. Because he never stopped. He'd go from tour to tour, album to tour, album to tour, album to tour. Dolly was kind of like this. She was always showing up on talk shows. She was doing podcasts, doing concerts, going on TV shows. When there used to be these things called variety shows on television that you could actually watch with your family, and they weren't filled with softcore porn and Satanism and what have you here. They've so screwed everything up. I don't have any interest in any of it anymore. And I'm sure most of you don't either. In contrast, says Madeline Osborne, Dolly Parton refused to alienate fans on either side of the political aisle, and not just because it was financially savvy to do so. She was an outspoken Christian her entire life and openly cited her faith in God as a motivation behind every personal and career move that she made. She said this, quote, "I never do anything that I don't pray about. And I always ask God to lead me and show me and direct me to do things that will glorify him and uplift mankind," close quote. In 2017, she joined her 80s co-stars Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin on stage at the Emmys to present an award, while Fonda and Tomlin went all in on using their microphone to attack President Trump as a sexist, egotistical, lying, hypocritical bigot boss. Parton refused to join in, standing next to them in silence. Parton was asked about that moment on stage a few years later on a podcast. Guess what she said, folks? She said, quote, "I wanted to say, let's pray for the president. Why don't we pray for the president? If we're having all these problems, why don't we just pray for Mr. President?" Close quote. Who says that these days? I try to. In another interview in 2019, an interviewer tried to get Dolly Parton to take the bait on political discourse when it came to women's rights, considering her role in the movie 9 to 5. Parton recognized the reality of harassment in workplaces and affirmed her consistent backing of equal pay for women, though she stopped short of embracing the label of feminism, saying, "I don't consider myself a feminist, but I'm feminine. And I believe that women should be treated with respect and allowed to do whatever." And yet none of these examples are intended to make the case that Dolly Parton was a closeted conservative or secret Trump supporter. Quite the opposite. She rejected Trump's attempt to honor her with a Presidential Medal of Freedom, not once but twice. On the left, LGBT activists long considered Parton an ally and a gay icon. On the day of her passing, the official account of the Democrat Socialist America honored Parton as the hero of the working class. She said, told the LA Times in 2019, quote, "I don't believe that I should offend people that don't have that same opinion by voicing my own opinion. I'm an entertainer. I can live it. I can write about it. I can joke it. I can joke, lift people up in my own way. But I don't see no reason for me to get involved in political fights," close quote. Parton understood something that modern-day Hollywood and Nashville have forgotten. You don't have to choose between erasing your values or becoming a partisan megaphone. Yes, you do. You know, I said yesterday I was going to talk about this. I'm assuming that Jay Arthur comes on tomorrow. We'll talk about Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo, the actor, dared to say something about Gaza and negative about Israel, and got himself a stern rebuke from the president of the Anti-Defamation League himself. This is a thinly veiled threat, basically telling Ruffalo, you better back off and you better take it back, or you'll never work in my town again. What town is his? Hollywood. Kind of ironic, don't you think, that Dolly would despise Hollywood so much and see it for evil, rotten, corrupt place that it was. She didn't want anything to do with it, so she built her own and called it Dollywood. Coincidence? And then Madeline Osborne concludes, America has lost more than just a famous singer or songwriter. We are mourning the loss of shared cultural experiences. Parton is a relic of a different country, one that is much different now than the one she entered. As I said earlier, you could say the same thing about Dennis Wilson when he died and the Beach Boys. You know, at the time that round, round, around, I get around, I get around now, woo, I get around. By the time the Beach Boys come out in the 1960s, with their signature haircuts and, you know, their beach clothes and their surfboards and the Woody that they drove to Waimea or wherever with, that was a California that was completely and totally different from the California of today. Now, there are still some people in California that are kind of like middle class, trying to do good, like some of the Beach Boys were. Like the surfer kid that rescued the lifeguard that Trump gave the Medal of Freedom to. But that California, like I was saying yesterday when we were reading Tacky from Tacky Mag, that California's gone. That middle America is gone. I know you're not going to have someone like Dolly Parton because we're not raising generations of kids like that. You know, instead, you have Why Digital Media file number 5. This is what you have now. You have Lindsay Clancy Gate. It's now officially a gate. Lindsay Clancy Gate. There is an army of women all over media. It's not just social media now. It's all over media now. You must be empathetic for Lindsay. No, I must be empathetic for Lindsay's sin and the fact that she has a bench carved out for her in hell. And if she wants to avoid it, then she needs to take her Catholicism seriously, call the priest, confess her sins, spend the rest of her life in sackcloth and ashes, begging for forgiveness, like St. Margaret of Cortona. Imagine St. Margaret of Cortona spent her entire adult life as a hermitess, basically living in a hollowed-out former church, making atonement for one sin. And that was basically shacking up with a dude she wasn't married to. I don't want to think about what kind of a kind of a penance is due from Lindsay Clancy. But this is nuts. These people are crazy. So this woman's name is Lori Watkins, okay? Just listen to the insanity, or watch the insanity. You can see the insanity just boiling up. She gets redder and more red and more red, and I love it. I love every minute of this. Watch.
They should be commended
because
they did.
I've had it with you.
Oh my God! They
And
should be
your
commended. They
sexism
didn't
and
kill their children. She's a murderer. These women are cheering. These are man-hating women that are standing outside. This is what it's about. They think the husband did it. They're crazy. They've lost their mind.
Do you know why
they're waving for a murderer?
Do you know why the woman is in a wheelchair? Did you even notice that she's
Couldn't care less. She's a murderer.
Because she jumped out the window after this happened.
So she should have. I'd have pushed her. They say that Lindsay was in psychosis. I think these women are suffering from psychosis. They've been watching too many true crime Netflix dramas. You know, this was a incredibly privileged woman, incredibly wealthy. She had a nanny, and she's still complaining that she needed help. She could not have got more help from the system that she already have received. This is a murderer who strangled her children one by one. One of the boys ran away, and she chased him down and killed him.
Lori Watkins.
What you just said was absolutely disgusting.
Thank you.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Thank you.
And you can hear that he's not. Okay?
Why? Because it's true.
You clearly don't care, so pipe down.
I don't care. And by the way, men watching this, if you have a woman sat next to you on the sofa who is defending this murderer, you got to think deeply about this. I've seen weddings.
So we need to have some empathy with.
Talk to your women and find out what are they thinking. They're defending this woman. It's
I don't think anybody's defending what she did, but you can have empathy for what she went through and how she.
I know many women that this has happened to. No, they did not kill their children, but they also, what you failed to mention.
They should be commended because they did.
I've had it with you.
Oh my God! They
And
should be
your
commended. They
sexism
didn't
and
kill their children. She's a murderer. These women are cheering.
I'm done.
She's a murderer.
Absolute best part of that video is when she's getting so upset, she closes her eyes, and you can hear her deep breathing over her microphone. Like I'm
gonna anger breathe you.
Such anxiety over the whole
I'm gonna
thing.
anxiety breathe you. Where's my Xanax? Bat poop crazy. That's what that is. That certainly is not Dolly Parton, is it?
She definitely couldn't hide her crazy.
I love the part about, she fell out of a window. It would have been there to push her out. I believe this is where we are. Gentlemen and men, we must become men and knights of Christ. And when crazy women like this show themselves in public, they must be put into their place. Like he tried to put her into her place. There is no room for this. Oh, no, I just want to be a feminist and I want to be a fag hag and I just want to love them and show them that, that I understand. I don't understand. I completely do not understand. I think you're bat crap crazy and I think you're a threat to society. And if you keep showing up chanting stupid things like justice and freedom for Lindsay, then I'm going to consider you a candidate for a rubber room. So is this a collective thing that's gotten into the water supply? I think it might be, folks. All right. I have no names to read from this segment for donations.
0.0.
Folks, need your help. On bended knee, crusadechannel.com/donate. Hopefully I'll be reading your name when we come back. Oh, names. Names.
Hello, Crusaders! This is Sister Maria Filomena inviting you to join us in Richmond, New Hampshire this October 9th and 10th for our annual conference as we consider oases of sanity in the 21st century. Connect with Mike Church, Charles Colomb, Brother Andre Marie, Commander John Sharp, CJ Doyle, Jeb Smith, Sister Marie Gabrielle, and myself for thoughtful discussion and fortifying Catholic camaraderie at St. Benedict Center. Register now by going to Catholicism.org/conference. Catholicism.org/conference.
Hello, Red, White, and Dude Nation. I'm Janet Huxley at the Mike Church Show News Desk with your crucials for Wednesday, August 26th, 2026. This report brought to you by the all-new Mike Church Show website and Dude Nation membership service. Check it out today at the all-new MikeChurch.com. In the market report, the Dow was up 0.30% at close. The S&P was also up 0.32%. NASDAQ climbed 0.66%. Today is National Dog Day, encouraging dog ownership of all breeds. While seeking a new companion, be sure to consider the mutts, mixes, as well as the purebreds and everything in between. It's also National Web Mistress Day, recognizing a woman who designs, develops, markets, and maintains websites. This term has existed since the mid-1990s. It was in June of 1995 the term officially entered technology's lexicon. That month, Kat Valentine secured the domain name webmistress.com. Taking the name a step further, Valentine began web development under the job title Web Mistress. Comparatively, the term webmaster arrived on the scene as early as 1986. It's National Women's Equity Day and National Cherry Popsicle Day. Our quote of the day, go forth in peace, for you have followed the good road. Go forth without fear, for he who created you has made you holy, has always protected you, and loves you as a mother. Blessed be you, my God, for having created me. St. Clare of Assisi. You can learn about today's saint and the Saint of the Day podcast, From the Slaves to the Immaculate Heart Sisters, by listening or downloading at crusadechannel.com/saint. You're listening to The Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation.
Listen, were you forced into getting a solar contract and now you just don't want it anymore? Maybe the solar company misled you. Or is your solar contract buried with hidden fees? Are you not saving the amount of money you thought you would on your energy costs? Don't worry. At the Solar Exit Hotline, we can help you cancel your solar contract, even if the panels are already installed. Our experienced legal team will review your contract and help you cancel it, possibly saving you thousands of dollars. You got to call right now for complete details. So listen, if you're not happy with your solar contract for any reason, we are here to help you cancel it. Call the Solar Exit Hotline now for immediate options to help you exit your solar contract. This call is 100% free.
800-932-1789. 800-932-1789. 800-932-1789. That's 800-932-1789.
The Mike Church Show, combining the best of the politics from the era of surround sound. With the 2026 revelation that when it comes to politics and scams like MAGA, we're all screwed. But like grape knee-high made with real sugar in a real glass bottle, we make throwback a go-back.
Too bad real women don't come with these, huh?
Come with 500-watt 8-channel discrete amplifiers, THX receiver sold separately.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. That's 800-313-7757.
Experts are standing by 24/7.
The research department of the Mike Church Show has learned that most people listen to this show because you want your truth neat, straight up, and never watered down.
Hey, look, mister. We serve hard drinks in here for men who want to get drunk fast, and we don't need any characters around to give the joint atmosphere. Is that clear?
And the best part about taking in 100 proof truth is you can drive at the same time. And you'll never get a hangover.
I'm so wasted!
The bar at the Mike Church Show opens every weekday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
Why do you think that is? I mean, why is that? I mean, is it just because people are lazy today or they're bored? I mean, are we just like bored, spoiled children who've just been lying in the bathtub all day, just playing with their plastic duck, and now they're just thinking, well, what can I do?
Okay, yes, we're bored. We're all bored now. But has it ever occurred to you, Wally, that the process that creates this boredom that we see in the world now may very well be a self-perpetuating, unconscious form of brainwashing created by a world totalitarian government based on money, and that all of this is much more dangerous than one thinks, and it's not just a question of individual survival, Wally, but that somebody who's bored is asleep, and somebody who's asleep will not say no? See, I keep meeting these people. I mean, just a few days ago, I met this man whom I greatly admire. He's a Swedish physicist, Gustav Bjornstrand, and he told me that he no longer watches television, he doesn't read newspapers, and he doesn't read magazines. He's completely cut them out of his life because he really does feel that we're living in some kind of Orwellian nightmare now, and that everything that you hear now contributes to turning you into a robot. And when I was at Findhorn, I met this extraordinary English tree expert who had devoted his life to saving trees. Just got back from Washington, lobbying to save the redwoods. He's 84 years old. He always travels with a backpack because he never knows where he's going to be tomorrow. And when I met him at Findhorn, he said to me, "Where are you from?" And I said, "New York." He said, "Ah, New York, yes, that's a very interesting place. Do you know a lot of New Yorkers who keep talking about the fact that they want to leave but never do?" And I said, "Oh, yes." And he said, "Why do you think they don't leave?" I gave him different banal theories. He said, "Oh, I don't think it's that way at all." He said, "I think that New York is the new model for the new concentration camp, where the camp has been built by the inmates themselves, and the inmates are the guards, and they have this pride in this thing they've built. They've built their own prison, and so they exist in a state of schizophrenia, where they are both guards and prisoners, and as a result, they no longer have, having been lobotomized, the capacity to leave the prison they've made, or to even see it as a prison." And then he went into his pocket and he took out a seed for a tree and he said, "This is a pine tree." He put it in my hand and he said, "Escape before it's too late." See, actually for 2 or 3 years now, Chiquita and I have had this very unpleasant feeling that we really should get out. And we really should feel like Jews in Germany in the late 30s. Get out of here. Of course, the problem is where to go, because it seems quite obvious that the whole world is going in the same direction. See, I think it's quite possible that the 1960s represented the last burst of the human being before he was extinguished, and that this is the beginning of the rest of the future now, and that from now on there'll simply be all these robots walking around, feeling nothing, thinking nothing, and there'll be nobody left almost to remind them that there once was a species called a human being, with feelings and thoughts, and that history and memory are right now being erased, and soon nobody will really remember that life existed on the planet.
Performing this show with 100% of my testosterone tied behind my back just to make it a fair fight. In the battle with empathetic, suicidal, single, angry, ugly cat ladies in pink t-shirts. Cheering on child murderers. I saw the most inconspicuous, but at the same time conspicuous, little cartoon, little meme yesterday, and it was a chick, and she was standing next to another woman, and she was signing. It was after Andrew Cuomo had signed the Quetzalcoatl bill to murder children on the day of their birth in New York, and the woman, the mean woman, was going like, "Oh, what do you do for an encore now? Kill the children after they're born?" And then the feminist in the pink shirt next to her standing there goes, "Yeah, like that's ever really going to happen." And then the next frame or the next panel is Lindsay Clancy on trial. And they are out there cheering her on, and this madness continues. By the by, Darlene Graham has won Lindsey Graham's primary in South Carolina against Ralph Norman. Now, it wasn't a blowout. It was a 52.4 to 47.6. But South Carolina, I don't know. I continue to, I don't understand this. How is the great state of South Carolina the state of John C. Calhoun, the state of Edward Rutledge, the state of Strom Thurmond, the state, hell, even recently, Jim DeMint. We're really watering Strom Thurmond down now. How is Lindsey Graham and now his sister, how is this even possible? You got to repeal the 17th Amendment. You have to. The 17th Amendment's got to go. I don't think there's any hope for us anyway. But if there is, then it's going to be sans 17th Amendment. You got to repeal the 19th too while you're at it. You got to take women have got to be removed from politics and from public affairs. They just have to be. What are you, some kind of a proto-sexist? Yeah, I think I'm pretty mim. As a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to play this soundbite every day.
What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
We haven't played a clip yet today, so we could play one now. If you want to hear some of this insanity, and I don't know that you need to, but I'm going to play it for you anyway. Play Dr. Gregory Satoff, digital media file number 6. You want to hear what's going on in the Lindsay Clancy trial and what the doctors are going in there saying. This is just a small part of it. You just put yourself in the frame of mind. Now, look, everyone is entitled to a defense. Yep. Okay, Lindsay Clancy can have a defense. Okay, fine. Because people are in the courtroom, even though the cameras aren't allowed in, and they're listening to the testimony. It has now come out. I'm not sure how this was obtained in discovery. But that little 3-year-old boy heard his mother strangling his 18-month-old baby brother to death. Was horrified at what he heard, ran for his life and tried to barricade himself or lock himself inside his father's office. This witch chased him down, opened the door, grabbed the boy, dragged him down to the basement, and strangled him. This is a kind of evil that is just incomprehensible to most people. I read the rest of Janice Famingo's piece on the Vaughn case in the 1880s, where, and think about this. How did women get the right to vote? How did it come up? It came up because of Susan B. Anthony and other whack job feminists, and they were crazy. Susan B. Anthony, they put her on a coin. Did you know that she actually publicly defended Emily Vaughn after Emily Vaughn had killed her child, her baby? This is an infant. Emily Vaughn bashed that kid's skull in and then was tried for it, was ultimately convicted, and Susan B. Anthony and company got her a pardon. At the roots, Carrie Gress's book, in Carrie's book, she wrote about this. She was like, no, they didn't just go crazy yesterday. These public women weren't just nuts just because of the 1960s. It just didn't happen after they started burning bras, for example. This has been going on here in the United States since, like, the United States, since the 19th century. So, if you read the rest of the Janice Flamingo piece about Emily Vaughn, I'm reading it going like, they put Susan B. Anthony on a coin. They put her on a coin. So how does suffrage get passed ultimately? How does the 19th Amendment get passed? Well, it's the Susan B. Anthony Amendment. That's what they call it, the Susan B. Anthony Amendment. Women suffragettes were demanding the suffrage. They didn't earn it. This is just nuts. And if you read, because you go to Janice Flamingo's piece, it's called Lindsay Clancy and the Perennial Innocence of Killer Mothers, you will be shocked to learn. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, this is from the piece, leader of the American feminist movement, spent months agitating on Emily Vaughn's behalf. In the pages of The Revolution, the feminist newspaper she ran with her associate, Susan B. Anthony, Stanton portrayed Vaughn as a sexually abused maiden and a loving but desperate mother forced to kill her child because she had no other options. There's always an option. She described her as a poor, ignorant, friendless, and forlorn girl who had killed her newborn child because she knew not what else to do with it. And that's from the selected papers of Elizabeth Cady Stanton. None of this was founded in fact. Vaughn herself did not claim. I think I shared some with you yesterday. And then Janice says, sympathy for infanticidal, especially unwed mothers, was widespread in 19th century English-speaking countries. How many of you people knew this? Professor of history Anne R. Higginbotham gives examples from 19th century London to show that, quote, juries were extraordinarily reluctant to convict women accused of murdering their illegitimate infants, close quote. And again, what was my statement to you yesterday? Is this how Jack the Ripper chose his victim? Did he choose women of the night who had or became women of the night, who had babies, illegitimate babies, and murder them? Infanticide was also a popular subject of sentimental novels, perhaps the most well-known being George Eliot's 1859 bestseller, Adam Bede, in which sympathy is consistently invoked for the child killer Hetty Sorrel. The idea that women's lives were, in general, much harder than men's, and that women deserve special accommodations for their mental and emotional fragility was regularly used to deny maternal culpability. In 1888, the case of three-time murderess Sarah Jane Whiteling excited similar compassion, with one prominent female medical doctor rallying other doctors to the defense of the prolific killer. In this case, the defense was not successful, and Whiteling was hanged for her crimes. But the elaborate justification offered for her brutal acts reveals much about American culture's decidedly lopsided empathy. This is stupid here. Sarah Whiteling was a 40-year-old American woman who murdered 3 members of her family in the spring of 1888. She likely would have escaped detection were it not for the suspicions of the family doctors after the third death. He encouraged a local coroner to exhume the bodies to test them for poison, after which it was discovered that Whiteling had killed her husband, her 9-year-old daughter, and 2-year-old son by dosing them with arsenic-laced poison. Isn't this what the book Arsenic and Lace was based upon, is the Whiteling case, Maggie? They made a movie out of Arsenic and Old Lace, didn't they? And again, this is a sympathetic portrayal of women killing people. By the way, coming to you live from the Revelation Gold Group studios, this portion of the program brought to you by the Dude Gear store at shop.mikechurch.com. Sample some Abbey Roast coffee from the brothers at Silver City, New Mexico, at Our Lady of Guadalupe Seminary. Look, you can get 7 different varieties of bean or ground in the Dude Gear store for one low shipping price. Who else can offer you that outside of Amazon? And our coffees are made by people that you know, love, and trust. The Brothers of Silver City, New Mexico, and of course my friends at the Abita Roasting Company for Capuchin Holy Roast. So shop with us today for coffee, your rubs, your cigars, your cooking utensils made here in Louisiana, your recipe books. We got it all, baby. Don't forget your cooking apron. You're cooking with a KingDude apron. Shop with us today, shop.mikechurch.com. In any event, this is just a marvelously well-written piece and a fascinating one about female American killers. Who knew? Was the Whiteling case the basis of arsenic? Boy, I tell you, y'all are, you know what? I didn't get a single donation last segment. I was not able to guilt trip one person into aiding and assisting our survival. Not one. I'm losing it, folks. I really am. I think it was a good run. 10 and a half years, it was a really good run. But the August crowdfunding is any indication. I'm just going to laugh it through to the end. CrusadeChannel.com/donate.
It was called The Detective in the White City.
Okay, so, but the Whiteling case, I know there was a book that was based upon it.
It's The Detective in the White City.
Oh, the detective in the White City or the Right City?
White City.
White City, okay. Play the Sathoff clip, just a part of it. The digital media file number 6. So this is a little bit of the testimony yesterday, and Lindsay Clancy tried. When you hear the testimony, you go like, well, why are they standing across the street saying that free Lindsay? Well, apparently this is a female American tradition to side with child murderers.
When I asked her about the voice that she heard, again, she said that it started really right after the telephone call at 5:34 with her husband, Patrick. And she said it was a man's voice. It was very clear. It was external. In other words, it came from outside of her head. That it was constant. So this phrase, "This is your last chance. You have to kill your kids and then kill yourself," was something that was repeated over and over and over and over again during that period that she strangled her children. And then just as soon as it had started, it stopped at when she had finished killing the children, strangling the children. Well, what was significant to me is that she had not spoken about hearing voices before that in any of the mental health professionals, the psychiatrists, the nurse practitioners, the physicians and staff in the emergency departments or at McLean. And so this was the first time that she reported that was documented, but also that she experienced an auditory hallucination, according to what she told me. So that was unusual.
So stop the tape. Let me translate that for you, what he just said. She never claimed before she realized she was going to be hanged for what she did that deep, dark voices were telling her to do it. She didn't tell the ambulance drivers. She didn't tell Patrick, her husband. She didn't tell the ER doctors. She didn't tell the doctors that treated her for her paralysis and her crushed vertebrae. She didn't tell anyone this. It wasn't until she was charged and then she began fabricating or organizing or getting together her defense that the story of the voices told me to do it came about. This witch, I just learned this. We really should do a Mom's Murders and Mysteries on this. I think you can do it probably without writing a script, but write a script. She called the restaurant and changed the order that she sent Patrick to go get to make, so they had to basically make it again or change it so that it would take longer for him to get back home. This is premeditated. Everything the woman did that day is premeditated. She planned it. Now, you can say that she planned it for whatever reason. Fine. She still planned it. It's premeditated. Hang her. Convict her and hang her.
She said she did it.
And just reading from Fiamingo's piece, these nutbags go back to the 1800s. Despite the evidence of premeditation and deception, an influential female doctor, Alice Bennett, Ph.D., chief physician at the Women's Division of the State Hospital for the Insane in Norristown, Pennsylvania, in 1888, was active in Whiteling's defense, claiming that Whiteling was a kind and affectionate woman who was not in her right mind when she killed her family, and proposing a special type of exoneration available only to women. You might even say that American male serial killers like Ed Gein were trying to play catch-up to the feminine or to the female variety. You know, we always say that there aren't female serial killers. Well, yes, there are. Come to find out, there were many of them. This Whiteling broad, over the course of a year, killed 3 family members. And you know, you can't taste arsenic. Arsenic, it smells like you put, it's not vanilla, it smells like you put hazelnut in whatever it is that you put arsenic in. You won't be able to taste it. And if you do, you'll go, oh, that tastes great. So Magdalene Rose, our political affairs contributor, Darlene Graham won South Carolina yesterday. It wasn't really that close, but at least it wasn't a blowout. Apparently, the Fox News Trump MAGA crowd can win every Republican primary in the United States, and there is no stopping them. That's where your right-wing politics are today. Magdalene.
Oh, so sorry.
The Trump position.
Hold on. Can you back up? Can you go back? Hold on. Producer number 4 didn't hit the button in time, so.
Fire her.
I can't fire her. I can't pay her. Somebody doesn't go to Crusade, channel.com/donate. She's working for free anyway. You should just quit. What should happen? All right, Magdalene, start over, please.
Yeah, I think that the problem we have right now is that the Trump world is holding our election system hostage, so we can't really mount any kind of defense. We can't try to get new candidates in. It's all by design. So as Trump, falls in favor, you and I know that. Anyone with a brain that goes outside knows that people don't love Donald Trump. But he's got the base, and he's got the boomers. And if you control the boomers in the Republican Party, you control everything.
Well, you control the boomers in the Republican Party. You also may be controlling a future that is not very bright because there's going to be a lot less of them. That's why they're boomers. I'm not wishing death on anyone. I don't. But it is a demographic fact that boomer, it's a demographic fact that boomer demographic gets smaller every day. And for how long then can you continue to prop up this? Because this is a mirage. This is a mirage. This is the mirage of the popularity and the potency of MAGA and Trump in the political world. You'll see what happens when these same people have to go up against against Democrats. Of course, the Democrats are, I still think, worse off than the Republicans are, and I don't think that they're going to win back either of the houses, but it could come down to that. But going up against an actual opponent, I don't know that the endorsement and that the power is as strong as they think it is. Now, does it just serve the purpose that it gets the boomer base out and they turn out in 80% or 90%, and that may be what saves the GOP from losing the House in November? Could be.
Well, it could be, but it's not a plan. This is the problem I have here. Trump will protect boomer rights to property and tax breaks. And then he wonders why young men don't want to talk to him. he has to understand there is a give and take here. If he's going to go all into the boomers, fine. Don't then be surprised when your approval rating drops to 30%. With young men who, like in 2024, you were up to 80%. That's the truth here. And I think that people like Vance know that. I think some people in the administration are aware of it. But they're between a rock and a hard place, because if you dump the boomers, you do lose. You can't win without them, and so we still have to base our political platform off of getting their support.
Okay, so listen to this. This is a piece that was written from Virtue Online. It came out in April. NEET, not in education, employment, or training. It's too late to fix this, and it's about how young guys are being screwed by the boomers. And the guy who wrote this anonymously says, or pseudonymously says, if you're a baby boomer, Magdalene, and a socially conservative Christian, and you don't understand young men nowadays, I'm writing for you. I also have something to ask of you at the end of this essay. It recently came to my attention that some of you don't understand why a large number of young men have become shut-ins, often addicts without career or romantic prospects. The term used for this now is NEET, N-E-E-T. That is, they are not in education, employment, or training. Men described as NEETs are those who were once simply called slackers, basement dwellers, and so on. I'd like to explain how this happened. First of all, have you heard this term NEETs before?
No, I haven't.
Okay. He goes on. I'm a young man, somewhere between a millennial and a Gen Z. I'm Christian, had good grades at school, worked hard, and finished college. I was raised well, too. I don't want everything handed to me, and I don't like those who do. You'd think that would help me in life. It doesn't. I can't use my degree in a helping profession, which supposedly needed more men because it went woke. Now I'm on my fourth career. I have been passed over for multiple positions because I was a man instead of a woman. The people who passed me over admitted to it. I finally gave up and started a business, but artificial intelligence and inflation undercut me. Some of those who helped me to establish my business even told me they were hoping to mentor a woman instead. Good grief, poor guy. In addition, even some of my customers wanted to work with a female-owned business. As a result, I can't even use the money I would otherwise have made to fund the Christian ministry I really had my heart set on. I'm now a skilled tradesman. I live on my own with no debt and money in the bank. But I have a non-zero chance of dying at work and overwhelming overtime, which I can't get out of. For the privilege, I had to be turned away at the door by multiple other trades because they refused to work with some college boy. By the way, women consider blue-collar jobs trashy, no matter how well they pay. So there's a distinct possibility that I continue to work massive overtime for nothing. They turn me down when I ask them out on dates, and then they say there are no good men nowadays. To put this another way, I gave up my 20s to extreme working hours that didn't help. I'm now doing the same thing to my 30s. It will be decades before all progressives, hiring managers, especially usually women, retire or die. So there's no way out. My peers have watched me give up everything I enjoy, dramatically lose weight from skipping meals, get sick from overwork, and fall asleep in church just to escape the NEET lifestyle. I'm not a role model. I am a dire warning not to try. I almost had to give up writing this essay because I don't have enough time off. Is that really the plight of most 30-something-year-old dudes?
I don't think so. I think that's a little extreme. I don't necessarily believe that. I think that there are some people who might be in that position. I'm also very curious what state he lives in and like what that looks like, because that can greatly impact it. I don't think that's the plight of most men. I do think there is truth that he said an important thing. He said most women consider blue-collar jobs. I think he said dirty. That is true. And I've wondered when men were going to start talking about that, because men were told by people, rightly so, to go into blue-collar jobs because less money to go into them significantly in terms of the cost up front and a better return. But women do judge them. And this is something that women are lying about. They do judge them. They do think of them as less. And I think that the effort to sort of glamorize them has caused women to be even more skeptical. So I think that's true. I don't necessarily understand all the other moving parts to what he said. I mean, possibly, but this is also an effect of the number one male podcaster being Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes doesn't sell, like a biblical life like Charlie Kirk did, get up, provide for your family. Nick Fuentes sells male victimhood at a very high degree. And so when Charlie Kirk, he did a good speech where he said, like, as a man, you should have, like, you shouldn't be, like, investing in your own leisure time if your wife is staying at home and raising kids and worrying about bills. And I know that a lot of young men like that clip. Nick Fuentes sells that it is, like, gay to get married. Like, this is what he sells. So I think that there's a lot of male victimhood.
It's gay. The guy says, here's the end result of all that he's writing about. See if anyone out there listening agrees with this. This portion of the program brought to you by the Mike Church Show Haberdashery Store at shop.mikechurch.com. Get your haberdash, which includes, yes, bow ties like this. Get your neckties from Proselytize, our tie company. And get your 35th anniversary Mike Church Show t-shirts, your dude number t-shirts, and much more in the haberdashery at shop.mikechurch.com. White collar or blue, it all ends like this, he says. A young man, whether he is a NEET or not, always ends up at an event with some older people. After everyone has had a few, some middle-aged woman decides to complain about kids nowadays. She declares loudly in front of him that young men nowadays are pathetic and disgusting. She lists her single daughter's many accomplishments in university and then white-collar work. She never mentions how her daughter got women's scholarships. She forgets that her daughter was raised conservative and was taught that affirmative action was wrong, then accepted it in five-figure sums. The young men aren't good enough for her daughter, she continues, because they can't get a real job. Of course, her daughter got this young man's job through affirmative action. The female hiring manager may have rejected that young man's application to the same position. And he says, this happened to me with a girl I just met. Sometimes these unhappy mothers put down their cocktail, look you in the eye, and say in mixed company, you aren't good enough for my daughter. This has happened to me twice. Do you understand now? If you still object to cutting these young men some slack, you are fiddling while Rome burns.
Was that you saying that, or was that the...
No, that's him saying that.
Oh. I mean, I could see that. I understand the preference that many hiring managers have with women. Again, I'm very curious where he lives that this is so true. Like, I think that it is true, there's a preference, but I also don't think that, like, the steps he's explaining, they kind of reek a little bit of male victimhood. And I say that because I watch Nick Fuentes' streams, and this is what he peddles. And so we have two problems here. A lot of this is true. And the other side of that is, instead of trying to fight against things, I think men are giving up. I think there is a feeling of that. And the harder that men go into blue-collar jobs, the more that women don't like them. Like, I genuinely believe if you stack up someone making less money but in a stable white-collar job versus someone making more money in a blue-collar job, a woman will pick the white-collar job. And this is just the reality. So when you tell young men to go into trades, I think for the first time young men are being honest that this is, first of all, backbreaking and grueling work, which people are not telling the truth about. I've seen that. And second of all, women don't like it. So, like, you sent young men into trades because they couldn't compete in the colleges because of the leaning towards women, and now the women don't want the men in the blue-collar trades. So it's like the recipe for nobody getting married.
Well, I think what Magdalene just said shows and proves that we have a problem with our young women. We have set them up to desire things that are unattainable, and thus they are putting that onto these young men, and the young men can't perform to what these women are expecting. And a lot of that has to do with social media, where you've got these lies that are being told about this glamorous lifestyle that these young girls are living, and they're miserable. They are being lied to, and they're trying to live out this lie, and it's just not working for either sex.
Yeah, for my part, I'm listening to this and you're going about the plight of young men, blue-collar young men in their 20s and their 30s. Well, let me tell you about the plight of white-collar old men in their 60s. It doesn't get any easier. I can't wave my white privilege around, apparently, and even raise enough funds to hit our fundraising goal for the month of August. Oh, we have 5 days left, so Mother Mary will provide. She always does. But let me just say to you that, okay, you heard about Data Republican, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. This is what you're up against, Magdalene. This is what I'm up against in broadcast media. That woman had to do nothing to be given an account that started with 600,000 subscribers. Just out of thin air, right? No work, no ethic, no history, there's nothing. And just show up all of a sudden. These people are all being, I am more convinced of it now than ever. They are being created. They are being fabricated. They are being placed in positions of broadcasting what looks to be broadcasting success and power, and it's not true. It just isn't. And you know, I'm going to give you an example of something. Let me see if I can. I can't remember. I'm going to have to go to the YouTube channel. There is a woman that I follow, just started following on YouTube. Her name is Nadine Zaraski. I'm going to have to look her up now. She had previously built a channel on YouTube 20 years ago that had 500,000 subscribers. And then she started having babies. She got married and started having kids, then she quit. She wanted to see if she could start another YouTube channel and get 500,000 subscribers again, okay? She's at, she started back in April or in March. She's now at like just a little north of 3,000 subscribers. And she wrote a little piece about this. And she goes, I know all the tricks. I know them all. And it's not working this time. It's not working this time. And she's like starting to get frustrated over it because she thought that, you know, success would come quicker. I know why it's not working, and you know why it's not working, because previously, yeah, you could work your way up with a really good idea and great content and build yourself a YouTube channel. You could. You can't do it anymore. It's almost impossible to do it now. You have to compete with 250 million other people who have the same idea. So it's almost it's almost impossible. Well, then please explain to me. And the same is true on X. You just can't do it. Nobody can do it. So explain. Look, Frank Wright got retweeted twice by Elon. He got 110 million views. He's peaked out now at 71,000 followers. He didn't get to 900,000. Elon has more followers than Donald Trump did. Well, she got retweeted by Trump. I don't care. It is not possible any longer, Magdalene. This is not a conspiracy. Well, actually, it is a conspiracy, isn't it?
It's not. No, I mean, I don't think it is. I think that your show has to be like blessed by the YouTube gods to grow. And that can mean a lot of things, but I think it also means that there's a backroom networking with YouTube. You know who talks about this a lot? Caleb Hammer, the guy who founded the Financial Audit YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. He talks about how before he started YouTube, he tried to intern for YouTubers. He almost got hired by one. It didn't work out. But he talks about like the YouTube network that I think is very hidden from the general public, which is why he mentions it. Because he always says, like, this was not, like, accidental success. Like, I talked to the people who make YouTube possible. I spoke with them, and we worked out, like, how to do it. I spoke with people who had launched good channels in the last 4 years. So, like, there is a network that keeps YouTube in the current branding that it is. And I think that if you're a new channel, you don't start with, like, YouTube industry connections. This is the reality here. And he talked about how he was shocked by how unorganic growing on YouTube could be, and how unorganic it actually was in the strategy. So, like, I encourage people to look at that because he really explains what you need to do that. And basically, you need to move to LA and do all the networking, or to Austin, Texas, in order to have any success.
So then, Magdalene Rose, our political affairs contributor on the Do Maker Hotline, here with us. This is, again, why do you keep talking about this? Well, because people keep asking us, and you keep wondering, like, well, why are you always doing fundraising drives? Folks, AM radio, okay, they killed AM radio. They slaughtered. They killed FM radio, too. We're trying to hold on to live broadcasting on AM radio and maybe someday on some FM stations. So radio is, okay, it's a vehicle and it's a medium, but it's not the vehicle and the medium it used to be. I'll give you a good metric on this. Sirius XM is now basically fighting the churn curve. Do you know what the churn curve is?
No.
The churn curve is you bring in 5 Dude Nation members, 6 quit. You bring in 10 new Dude Nation members, 11 quit. You're on the wrong side of the churn curve. And I don't know why that is, but SiriusXM is on the wrong side of the churn curve too. And their stock price shows it, and their financials and what they're trying to do to hang on to current subscribers shows it as well. It's mainly just it's a RSTL and an E thing. You know, you buy a new car and there's a Sirius XM satellite radio in it, and when you drive off the lot, they activate it for you for 6 months. And then you start getting bombarded with phone calls. You know, your subscription is going to expire, and you know you need to buy a subscription. If Sirius satellite radio, which has access to the new car market, can't make it in radio, I'm trying to paint the picture of just how difficult this is, folks. And it's not us. It's not the production. It's not the radio station. It's not the talent. Magdalene's very gifted. Maggie's very gifted. I might have a couple of skills that I can use. It doesn't have anything to do with it anymore. And I believe that it used to. There was, like Caleb was saying, there was an organic path to success if you worked really, really hard and then you actually did have talent and skill. They have somehow removed this. I am living proof that they removed it, and it's disturbing. But you know, you work hard at it, and you just continue doing what you can every day. But these people, like the Data Republican, you just name one of these influencers. They're all put there. Every single one of them is manufactured.
Well, I'm very glad Data Republican has been somewhat exposed because I've been suspicious for years. And I've thought it was crazy for years that somebody who regurgitates basic data that Numbers USA, that immigration platform that used to be the main briefer for the GOP, has had for like 20 years. So, I mean, Data Republican always struck me as very odd. I spoke with Numbers USA guys. I went to some of their events. I heard their talks. And I remember when Data Republican, and that was like 2019. I remember when Data Republican struck, I was like, what's just Numbers USA data? Like repackaged to look cool. Like that's all that is. And she didn't deny that because other people eventually brought it up. So she's been somebody who I think has made things look cool that other people have reported. And I get that she has some struggles and she has issues. That's great. She was not groundbreaking, and I think it's beneficial that people finally see that.
Well, Magdalene Rose, our political affairs contributor, I want to thank Mark, Larry, and Bob, and Julie, who donated while Magdalene was talking. You see there, Magdalene, maybe you're the good luck charm. See that? You start talking. Maybe you need to make the pitch for the donated funds.
Certainly possible.
You started talking, and the money started flowing like the wine of Capistrano. I'm very suspicious of all of these successful people now. And just wondering, well, how is it that you break through? Can you name, outside of Caleb, name someone that actually has, you can go be like, oh, well, he's had a channel for 10 years. And then you could see, oh, okay, well, he did have an organic path here. He worked at it. Can you give me an example?
There's one, there are people in celebrity reporting. But again, a lot of these people come from other areas, like Dan Wooten, who's on GB News in the UK, who does fantastic reporting on Harry and Meghan. But he went onto YouTube with nothing and built it. But again, I think you need to either come with such a huge name brand backing, or you need to do the networking. There are independent bloggers like Without a Crystal Ball who does a lot of blogging, but she, again, came from having a successful blog. I think the era of knowing nothing and doing YouTube that made YouTube so accessible and cool is over.
All right, Magdalene Rose, our political affairs contributor. Dolly Parton, is it possible that another Dolly Parton is being raised out there in the hinterlands right now? What do you think?
She had a really hard life, so I kind of hope not, because she had a lot of struggles and Appalachian issues and deep poverty. But maybe somebody with her mindset of charity is out there.
The thing I appreciate about Dolly, and she never forgot the maxim, which I'm sure El Rushbo did not make up, but he lived his radio life by it. And I try to live mine is entertain, entertain, and entertain. You can bring the politics and the issues into it because it's kind of what we do. At the end of the day, though, if it's not entertaining, then hardly no one's going to listen to it. I would think in this day and age, I'll tell you a quick story. 3 years ago in December, I got a message from daughter number one, which rarely happens. I had to poke and prod for a week to get a response. I got a message from daughter number one, and then a follow-up phone call because she was at something that she thought was really, that she thought she was excited about and thought that I would be excited about it too. And if I gave you 60 guesses, you would not guess. But you hazard a guess as to what kind of excitement that she may have been excited about. You're going to say, I have no idea.
Concert?
Yeah, you're right. She was at the Hollywood Bowl with her future husband and future mother-in-law and father-in-law, and they were getting ready to watch the Beach Boys. And she was thrilled.
I can see that for you. Yeah, I can see that for you.
She was excited. She goes like, oh boy, the Beach Boys. She goes, Dad, I wish you were here. That is the kind of just say the name Beach Boys, and you think happy. You think round, round, get around, I get around, ooh, ooh, I get. You think happy. You think little surfer.
Okay.
You think. Say the name Dolly Parton. You think Jolene, Jolene, Jolene. You. Even though that was a struggle song, you also think 9 to 5, or you think Islands in the Stream. You think her appearing with Johnny Carson or Jay Leno or any of the talk shows or at a concert. She was the grand marshal of a parade here in New Orleans. You think happy. These were entertainers. They never stopped entertaining. And I think the fact that a 26-year-old was in stitches over getting ready to watch a concert to be performed by 78-year-olds might say something about the current time in which we live.
I think it does, and I think that's also because people don't necessarily love surprises anymore. I think it's interesting for all the alternative lifestyle conversations, all that stuff that happened from like 2014 to 2024. If you look at all the modern pop singers, literally none of them are in those. Like maybe they're in like a gay relationship, but there's no throuple. There's no like they, thems anymore. It's all gone. So it doesn't surprise me that legacy artists continue to hold that much power, like the Jonas Brothers, for example. The Jonas Brothers were the Disney Channel act, and they have like sold out stadiums. And they have like 2 albums that they've done in the last 10 years because they're safe. Because most of them are married, one of them is divorced, but most of them are married, they have kids, they seem family friendly. I think the family friendly aspect is bigger than we think.
No, it is bigger than you think. And there's also a Jonas Brother can actually pick an acoustic guitar up and play it. Can any of these other punks that are out there? Not very many of them. You know, one of the secrets to the longevity, the guy that you know as Kid Rock, his real name is Robbie Ritchie, is that guy is actually an accomplished musician. That dude, I saw him in concert. He walked around the stage. He kicked the black chick off the drum kit, played the drums, got up from there, walked over and told the bass player to give me a guitar, played the bass, told Cricket, what was his guitar player's name? It was not Cricket, it was Cracker. Told Cracker to give him his lead guitar, played the lead guitar. My point is, he's an actual talented musician. Yeah, I mean, he's actually really good. I don't know that even that there are talented people out there now. I don't think that the world is looking, or that what is popular on social media is talent. I think what's popular on social media is crass. It's crass. It's shock. It's awe. It's vulgarity. It's awful. It's not the good, the true, and the beautiful. And when someone like Dolly Parton dies or Dennis Wilson dies, there's just a little part of that is taken away, and it doesn't look like there's anything in the pipeline to replace it. That's kind of depressing, isn't it?
It's depressing, and I think that I think that as millennials get older, people like Jonas Brothers, the joke on Twitter is like, what debt are the Jonas Brothers in for them to keep playing this much music? Like those kinds of artists who were coming out in like 2006, who are now older, married, they seem steady and okay. They have more and more support increasing, and the younger artists, like if you look at Post Malone, for example, huge in 2019, like the huge rapper, he's pretty much dropped off the map. Majority of rappers have left. Like, aside from Nicki Minaj, who's not even charting anymore, like, where is the rap dominance? A couple years ago, that was unheard of. Rap was everything. It's not everything anymore. Music is back now.
Wait a minute. Let me tell you something. I saw the headline at Variety yesterday. For the first time in, like, 31 years, there is not a rap single on the Billboard Top 40. Not one.
Yeah, it's not there. And I think
and I'm happy with that.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of, like Megan Thee Stallion, when she went out and she for Kamala Harris.
Oh, God have mercy.
When she did that, there was this idea that, like, that she was so influential, all these rappers are so influential. They really weren't. Like, they really weren't. I know it'll be like Taylor Swift, but let me really ask you all, would you rather your daughter was listening to, like, really dirty rap or Taylor Swift? Because I know my answer. And I don't know if you've seen Taylor Swift since she got married. She's dressed like some, like, fairy princess in, like, these long, flowy dresses. She looks great. All she does is talk about songwriting. So the conservatification of Taylor Swift has occurred since she married Travis Kelce, as it always does. So these rappers that are not competing, like even Drake, he doesn't have a top album. Where's Kendrick Lamar when he had to open the Super Bowl because of, like, black oppression or some nonsense? Like, it's just not there anymore. And I think that's a great thing for the country.
I was actually popping champagne corks when I saw the headline from Variety. So maybe then you should take the on the sea, on the land, on the air, the stupid video you made me make. Maybe you should put that. You should repost that on
I think you have to make another one
on Facebook. Why is there a new stupid song you got to make? You got to do this.
There's always a Taylor Swift thing that I can put together. Have no fear.
Can I be spared this, please?
No.
You see, you people, you see what I do for the cause here. I even make embarrassing Taylor Swift videos. But it never got that video never got popular. You said it was going to have a 250,000
people. Like 1,000 people saw that video. That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. People commented on it. They loved it.
Look, I posted a Dolly Parton reel today for her singing the Battle of New Orleans song on our Facebook. It already has 7,000 views.
I told you.
Look at the downstream from us going viral. 5,000, 5.7 thousand, 1.7 thousand, 5.2 thousand, 6.4 thousand. We may have actually stumbled on something. It was completely by accident. Thank God for Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham in the WNBA. Thank the Lord. I'm going to send Sophie Cunningham a box. You know, I'm not going to send her a box of chocolates because she ain't that kind of girl. I'm going to send her a box of beef jerky because that's the kind of chick. That's the kind of girl my girl Sophie Cunningham is. Beef jerky's inbound, baby. Thank you for making me go viral. I love you. Sophie. Okay.
Well, you know what it is? Sophie Cunningham fought back against the woke oppression. And
She did?
Helping the Mike Church show. Yeah.
I think Sophie Cunningham would be a great guest on the Mike Church show, as a matter of fact. So, well, Magdalene, there's your reel for today. There you go.
I'll get right on that.
I worked the WNBA and Sophie Cunningham in, and beef jerky. You were typing over there going, I'll write this down for a highlight reel. No, okay, why weren't you? Why not? You love Sophie, too.
I do.
All right, Magdalene, we'll see you on Friday. I did ask you about Dolly. I had one more thing. It's fine. We'll see you on Friday. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Folks, if news breaks out today, we all break in. Seriously, wasn't that fun? It was fun making that little Sophie Cunningham video. Entertain. By the by, I talked to my editor yesterday, my secret editor.
She's not secret. You told everybody.
Okay, I talked to Sister. I didn't tell her. She emailed me, Sister Marie Gabrielle. She says that she thinks that she will have me tax title and license out the door by Sunday with the remaining anthology edits. The anthology has gone from 138 pages in the previous 2013 release to now a whopping 222 pages. Because I have gone back and have added 60 pages of biography and dialogue, and fun dialogue, I think. What?
That's breaking.
Meta agrees to
$16.68 billion in a settlement.
$16.68 billion in a settlement? How does someone have $16.68 billion laying around?
Social media harms children.
Because social media harms children. Well, there you go. In any event, it's been fun, actually. It's been really enjoyable, and I can't wait to share the anthology book with you, which you're all going to be able to order, a hardback copy of the anthology and the actual CDs. If you want the digital version, it will be available, absolutely. But I think it's a much, much better, much more detailed and personal story. And it's about the struggle. A lot of it's about the struggle, and a lot of it's about the trial and error, and then the fun of actually hearing that. Oh, wait a minute, people actually like that ACLU song. They laugh when you play it. That's a great thing. So it's coming. I think that the ebook version will be available then early next week, and you can get an advance copy. If you're a Dude Nation member, you're going to have access to it as part of your membership. You're gold or higher. So upgrade your membership today at mikechurch.com/join. If any more news breaks out today, we shall break in. And again, today is the feast day of Saint Zephyrinus, and a great saint, a great pope. Again, Dolly Parton, rest in peace. Eternal rest grant unto her, God, let perpetual light shine upon her. May she rest in peace. Amen. If news breaks out today, we shall break in. Go and continue donating, folks. CrusadeChannel.com/donate. Shop in the store, shop.mikechurch.com. Visit our title sponsor, Revelation Gold Group, and you tell the people in Atlanta, you people in Atlanta, tell our host at 1010 The King, this week will be week number 4. We've been on for 4 weeks now. In the middle of our 4th week here on 1010 The King. And I told the guys at 1010 The King, I said, give me the fall book. Give me the fall to reach out to my beloveds in Atlanta and deliver daily, entertaining, live, conservative, traditional, sometimes Catholic talk radio, or Catholic themed, when I say talk radio. So tell the people at The King that you love it. And that you want, you love it, want more of it. I think their website is 1010 The King. So thanks for all of you watching and listening today, for all of your contributions and donations, and for all of my wonderful executive producers who send me stuff. Please keep sending. Email is KingDude, KingDude @mikechurch.com. God bless you all, and Mary keep you.
He's got the truth on his side. The liberals can run, but they'll never hide. He's a friend of Mr. Madison as he fights all leftisms. He supports our troops over there, stands up to the kooks from care. He's the KingDude of the nation of doom. Red, white, and doom.